pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, hello. Good morning, everybody. Brock and Salk Show, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, Seattle Sports app, podcast platforms, YouTube, and, of course, 97.3 HD2. All good ways to find the show. Thank you for doing so. We appreciate it. What a weekend here in Seattle. Hopefully, you had an opportunity to go over to the ballpark, and hopefully it was Saturday or Sunday, because if so, man, did you get to see some fun action, man? Couple of walk-off wins. Mariners take 2 out of 3. We talked a lot on Friday about where they were at. We talked a lot about what they needed to do, and, well, it was a weekend that had a little bit of something for everybody. Cole Young, we wondered if he might be called up on Friday. He was, for some reason, a couple hours later than we might have thought, but okay, he gets called up. I don't know what they needed to see in those first couple of innings of the game in Tacoma. That was a little odd, but whatever. He's here and obviously made a difference right away on Saturday as he propels them to a win with a big hit and then later a big RBI. Good for him, and we'll talk a lot about Cole today. He's not, unfortunately, the story of the weekend. Because the story of the weekend is the story of the week, is the story of the month, is the story of the season, is the story of this team. And that is obviously and quite clearly the guy who just keeps hitting home runs.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, crushed, right field. It's on its way. Goodbye. Cal Raleigh does it again. He is unbelievable. The home run leader in baseball strikes again. Cal Raleigh going deep. We are all living the Cal Raleigh dream. And the Mariners lead 1-0.
Cal Raleigh has more home runs than anyone in baseball, and that includes Shohei Ohtani. What? Say those words out loud and say them again. Cal Raleigh has more home runs than anyone in baseball, including Shohei Ohtani. He's done it from the right side of the plate. He's done it from the left side of the plate. He's done it early in games. He's done it late in games. You can't pitch to him. You can't pitch to him right now. Maybe that will change at some point, but I think you've used this phrase before, Lyle, like he's Barry Bonds on steroids right now. Like, this is what it was like with Barry Bonds. You really didn't have much of a choice. You had to just walk him. I was thinking. So I was listening, baseball follows you, right? We've talked about this. I watched and listened to baseball in all kinds of places over the course of this weekend. I watched on my phone while waiting for my daughter's volleyball camp thing to end on Friday. I listened in the car. I watched at home. I watched during Cecily's hockey game on Saturday. I listened to Cecily on the way to Cecily's game yesterday. So I was all over in terms of how I was consuming the Mariners this weekend. As the ninth inning was going on yesterday, tie game, right? Julio leads off the ninth, and you got to feel at that point like you got a pretty good chance to win that game. You got Julio and Cal coming up. And I'm thinking to myself, if Julio doesn't get on, now he did, so we never got to find out. But I was real curious what Rocco Baldelli would do. If Julio doesn't get on, are you pitching to Cal, or are you just going to put him on first base? Would you put the game-winning run on first base rather than pitch to Cal there? I think I might have. Now, as it turns out, he struck out, so it didn't, or yeah, whatever he did. He didn't get a hit. I think he struck out. But I think I might have. I think I might have just said, forget this. I'm not pitching to this guy. He's Barry Bonds on steroids right now. I'm not pitching to him. So it didn't go that way. Obviously, Julio gets on first, steals second, gets the third on the error, and essentially that wins you the game, which is awesome. And we're going to talk a little Julio today because Brock and I have been debating some Julio stuff offline, and we'll bring some of it to the air because I love what Julio did this weekend. I think he had an incredible weekend to help this team win both of the games they won. They don't do that without Julio. And no, it wasn't hitting home runs, but he did everything else. Love the way Julio played the game this weekend. But I was wondering, do you just walk Cal? Would you have done that? If there's nobody on in the ninth, tie game, 1 out. So in this scenario, it didn't happen. But in this scenario, Julio strikes out. Do you walk Cal with nobody on?
I mean, I think I have to stay on par with what I said about walking Aaron Judge no matter what. That's what I told the Mariners to do during that Yankee series. So, yeah.
You just walk him. He's already hit 4 home runs in the series. The guy drove in 8 of the 13 runs this weekend. The non-Cal portion of the Mariners lineup drove in 5 runs in 3 days. Let me say that again. The other guys in this lineup, the other 12, had 5 runs. Cal had 8. I wouldn't have pitched to him. No way. I also don't understand why in that scenario you aren't walking. There's a man on third and 1 out. Why aren't you walking Randy Arozarena and trying to get a double play? Am I missing something with major league managers who don't want double plays anymore? They'd rather bring the infield in? Are they nuts? Bizarre. We're seeing this all the time. There's just like a one-off, not just a one-off from this game. I don't understand it, but whatever. Take it. Take the win there for sure as Randy comes up with a hit and the Mariners win again yesterday. But Cal is the story of the day. 253 says, so Cal's going to get drug tested. You just said he's on steroids. No, I just said he's like Barry Bonds when Bonds was on steroids. Big difference. 360 says Cal destroys the narrative of you can't hit in Seattle. It's actually not a narrative. It's just what statistics say. Just statistics. Salk, does Munoz's struggles over the last 2 games and drop in velocity worry you? I mean, I think he was hitting 100, no? I didn't see the drop in velocity. He was still hitting 100 miles an hour.
He was just off on some of those, but yeah, he was at 98, 100 yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not, like, worried. No. He's blown 2 games in a row, so obviously you put a little eyebrow on that. But no, I'm not worried. Yeah. No, I'm not worried at all. How is Cal not the MVP? Catcher's way. I mean, who said he's not? Right now, he may very well be the MVP. If you're talking about most valuable player, there's nobody in the league more valuable right now in the way he's played here in the first 2 months than Cal. He's driving in 8 of your 13 runs. He won't win it because obviously, Aaron Judge plays in New York, and there is, according to all of the writers who vote on that thing, an enormous, enormous emphasis put on playing in New York City, specifically. If you play in New York, your value is automatically you'd probably add about 40% to your value just by playing in New York, putting on those pinstripes. But
you do. Judge is also having like the greatest offensive season we've ever seen.
It also doesn't matter. He plays in New York, so of course he'll be the MVP. I mean, like, he's a New York Yankee, obviously. But yes, of course, he's great. You can't tell me that he's more valuable to the team than Cal is right now. I'm just so impressed. And I would also say to Cal, the fact that he has taken this incredible superstar turn, and that's what this is. I mean, like, over the course of the last 6 to 8 weeks, he's hitting like a superstar. He's taking a turn towards being a superstar. If he maintains this, he's not a star, he's a superstar. Like, that's what Cal's doing right now. I will say that to have done this immediately after, not before, immediately after signing his mammoth or his big contract. It's not mammoth, but his big contract. It's incredible. Guy signs a long-term deal and gets better. Usually we talk about the opposite, right? Oh, man, they signed him to the long-term deal, and then he kind of went in the, you know what? Like, no. Cal signed this deal and immediately got better. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just incredible. So, yeah, really great weekend for the Mariners. Love the action. Love the fact that they kind of evened everything up. It was a strange weekend for sure. Probably should have won the game Friday. Probably should have lost the game Saturday. But it goes the exact opposite way. And then find a way to scratch out another victory in a rubber match. And that's the theme of this team, right? Finding ways to scratch out victories in rubber matches. That makes them now, 8-2 on the season in rubber matches? 8-2? They were 7-1, right? They lost to Washington. They beat Minnesota. Weird that it didn't go the other way, but whatever. 8-2. They're winning 80% of their rubber matches. Incredible. And look, Dan kind of talked about this after Friday's bad loss. At that point, they'd lost a couple in a row. They had the weird extra inning problem, and he's like, yeah, it's all right.
The loss was a loss. It stings. And, these sting a little bit because they're late innings. But, these guys, they've been around this before. They've been in the game a long time. We've been through it, and we'll continue to fight through it. And these guys will be back ready to go.
They were. They came back the next day, found a way to win, and kind of sneaky hero of the weekend is Luis Castillo. By the way, maybe sneaky hero of the last few weeks. Luis has looked like himself, man. That dude is throwing hard. His fastball is moving. He goes 6 shutout innings yesterday. Lots to talk about there. We'll be talking about this team all morning. Shannon's going to come in and spend an hour with us from 8 to 9. They made a small trade this morning, which I'll tell you about and need to know next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
He's just eating right now.
Okay.
Cal Raleigh.
I like that.
How about that?
He's in his zone right now, and he's doing it from both sides of the plate, which is the most impressive thing. And he's played every single day, even on his day off.
You do think, like, are you going to get days off? I mean, you're hanging on to Garber to give Cal days off.
Right.
That's the one fear I have with Cal's season so far is like, hey, let's get this guy some time.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple 1-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Does your yard need shade, privacy, or a little brightening up? Look no further than Big Trees. I'm Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. At our 30-acre location, there are thousands of trees to choose from and knowledgeable staff, including a board-certified master arborist, to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Visit the nursery and learn more about Big Trees at bigtreesupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hey, it's Dave Wyman, and before you make that decision, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Why? Because he gives it to you straight. Dr. Wagner said my right knee needs replacement, and I appreciate his honesty and expertise. My left knee is fine right now, but the minute it isn't, I'm heading to Dr. Wagner for his expert opinion. I want to avoid another surgery, and I've heard so many patients rave about results from their 90-minute outpatient stem cell procedure with Dr. Wagner. He's a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience and has performed more than 20,000 stem cell procedures using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy without pain and without surgery. Whether it's a shoulder, hip, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
This hour is brought to you by Community Transit.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, if you like walk-offs, this weekend was for you. I won't say that in the full Chris Rock voice, but you get the idea. After a brutal loss on Friday, where they gave up a couple of leads only to get smoked in extra innings, they were exactly the opposite on Saturday and again on Sunday. It was the old recipe. Excellent starting pitching, big-time home runs, and some very timely hitting.
1-1 tie, bottom of the ninth inning. The stretch, the 2-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball, up the middle, base hit. The Mariners win it. Randy Arozarena jumps on first base. A walk-off single. Julio scores, and the Mariners win it 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins. Second consecutive walk-off win for the Mariners in this series.
Pretty incredible. Obviously, the big difference in this was Cal Raleigh. He was unbelievable. 4 home runs in 3 games, accounting for 8 of the 13 runs that the team scored. Got an OPS well over 1,000. It's approaching the roided-out Barry Bonds territory. Helped keep the team a half game ahead of Houston. Dan Wilson, his manager, loves him.
I mean, this has just been, Cal just, in some ways just keeps learning and getting more experience. And I think you see that just continuing to come out. And, I thought getting that first pitch breaking ball and being able to hit it out of the ballpark was a huge at-bat for him. And he just continues to grow and mature in this game, and the pace that he's on right now with home runs, and he's not just hitting home runs either. He's still, just hitting the ball hard, and what again, you add that to what he does behind the plate in a game like this. He's a real special player, and he's doing it all right now.
He sure is, catching incredibly well, throwing well, and obviously doing everything this team needs to hit. And he's got his game in terms of calling games and running a pitching staff on point as well. Starting pitching a huge part of this weekend, and specifically what they got from Luis Castillo yesterday. 6 innings, no runs. You're getting like the old Luis Castillo back here over the course of the last few starts. Enormously important for long-term success. Full day off at home, then the homestand continues tomorrow. Baltimore will be in for 3. Birds have been almost inarguably the biggest disappointment in baseball this year. Should be a good chance, though, to scout some of the bats that might be available in the next month or two before the deadline.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, it didn't happen before the start of the series, but it wasn't much later as Cole Young was called up Pulled from the game in Tacoma on Friday night, was in Seattle for the debut Saturday. It was a pretty good one. Came up with a big hit late and, won the game.
The pitch. Swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base, throw home, not in time! It's a walk-off for the Mariners! Cole Young in his Major League debut is showered with seeds and gum, and the water bucket in shallow right field. He has won it for the Mariners in the bottom of the 11th inning.
Wasn't the hardest hit ball of his life. In fact, he was lucky that it went softly enough that they were able to score the run. But give him credit, man. He battled in there and found a way to make contact, which is exactly what that situation required, and ends up winning the game. Really nice job, by the way, running the bases by Masterbone. That's exactly what his role should be, and he played it to perfection there. Really, really nice game. Nice win for them on Saturday. Let's see. Here's Cole Young.
That was unreal. I can't even describe it. The past 24 hours. It has been insane. I mean, I never thought I would be in that situation to hit a walk-off in my debut, but I was unreal.
Brock's gonna cry later when we play that, isn't he? He probably is. I think Brock's gonna cry when we play that. Is he crying?
Cole?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Sounds like it. It sounds like he might have been crying. I can't quite tell. I think it'll make Brock cry. He looked comfortable. Got to assume he's now the regular second baseman, which should open up both Dylan Moore and Masterbone to return more to the utility roles that I think fit them best. Leo Rivas was optioned back to Tacoma as well. Good to have Bryce Miller back. His return was okay. Went just 4 innings before hitting his pitch count. Casey Legumina sent down to make room, and it does sound like they may have made a small move for a reliever. Joel Sherman reporting this morning that they're acquiring lefty Joe Jakes from the Dodgers. Been in the minor leagues, has not pitched all that well in the majors, so I assume he'll start off here in Tacoma, but we'll see where they go with that.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All right, OTA practices continue this afternoon. The media finally invited to watch. I'm out. I'm going out. I'm excited. More, are you coming out today?
Maybe later this week.
Oh, all right. Well, okay, fine. I'll be there by myself. It's fine. I didn't want to hang out.
Then we can get information.
No,
for
it's
two
fine. I
different
didn't want to
days.
hang out. It's fine. I didn't want to hang out with you. It's okay. I don't like walking around the sidelines with you and seeing what's going on. There's going to be a lot to look at anyway. I won't have time to talk to you. I've got at least 3 things where my eyes will be heading there quickly, starting obviously with the quarterbacks. I want to see what Sam Darnold looks like. I want to see what Jalen Milroe looks like. Darnold was on Rich Eisen, I think, on Friday, and talked about being the starting quarterback.
I think for me, it's nothing really changes. That's kind of the mindset I had going into last year and years prior as well. But I think the biggest thing for me is just making sure that, I take it one day at a time. Don't get too far ahead of myself or, worry about, what would happen this year if this happens, or, you get into kind of all those things. And I think for me, it really is about just taking it one day at a time and going from there.
A couple cliches in there, but you get the idea. Shouldn't really affect him too much. I'll be watching the offensive linemen, obviously, and I got a really great quote that Maura found here. John Boyle has this from Jaron Reed. I'll play that for you or read it to you here in a little bit. And then third thing, probably Nicky Manwari. I want to see what that guy looks like in person. I want to see what, look, they traded up for him, second pick that they made, maybe could have even been their first rounder. Kind of curious to see what he looks like and how he fits into things. So there you go. Those will be things we can talk about tomorrow once I get a chance to get over there. That is everything you need to know. 1:15 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. The authenticity in Cole's voice. I almost cried. I can see it. There was, it sounded like he was maybe moved nearly to tears in a moment like that. All right. As I said, Shannon's coming in today. We're going to spend an hour with Shannon just hanging out talking baseball, which I'm certainly excited about. Tomorrow, we will have head coach Mike McDonald with us. at 9:30. So a little special edition OTA version of the Mike McDonald Show tomorrow at 9:30. Looking forward to that. After Passing, of course, tomorrow as well. So should be a pretty fun week. We got a lot of cool stuff lined up. If you missed anything this weekend, if like me, you were running around doing a little bit of everything, you might have missed something. Thankfully, Maura, who's not coming out to hang out with me today, but did spend some time preparing for around the weekend, she's got that for you next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
He's just eating right now.
Okay.
Cal Raleigh.
I like that.
How about that?
He's in the zone right now, and he's doing it from both sides of the plate, which is the most impressive thing. And he's played every single day, even on his day off.
You do think, like, are you going to get days off? I mean, you're hanging on to Garber to give Cal days off.
Right.
That's the one fear I have with Cal's season so far is like, hey, let's get this guy some time.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 62225, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions. Like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures. Until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing is available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims, like Alex. At just 16, she suffered trauma after a broadside collision with a delivery truck.
When I came in, they were so nice. They were just like, don't worry about anything. We'll take care of that. It's gonna be okay. Live your high school life. We got your back. And they did. I would recommend Rob because they have a passion for caring for people.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I like a good rewind, and this morning we will be rewinding the weekend as we do on Mondays because people are busy and the sun is out this time of year. My God, this week looks like just heaven. Like 70 degrees and sunny every single day this week. Oh my God, I love when the city is like this. I love it so, so much. Yesterday was phenomenal. Friday was phenomenal. Just a tremendous weather weekend. So if you were out and about and you missed anything, don't worry. Miss Mora's got you covered.
You just had me checking. Now I'm seeing next week, it looks like we're finally going to get into the 80s for more than one day.
Yes. I love that. I mean, and it's just June. Summer's not supposed to start until July 5th.
It is interesting, too, that we've had one of the better springs we've had in a while, and the Mariners are off to a better start than they've had in a long time.
Well, and it's been easier to hit at T-Mobile in April and May than it's been in a long time. Go figure.
All right, we'll start with the Mariners. So on Friday, Cal Raleigh gave the M's a 3-0 lead in the first, thanks to his 20th home run of the season.
Here's Cal Raleigh. So a kid from Koloe, North Carolina pitching to a kid from Koloe, North Carolina hitting. Pitch on the way to Cal. Swinging a drive deep to right field. Stay fair, baby. Gone. Goodbye, baseball. Oh, my goodness. Cal Raleigh, with his 20th home run of the season, has just set a major league record. 20 home runs, the most by a catcher by the end of May. And he gets number 20 here on May 30th. No catcher in the history of the game of baseball has hit 20 home runs by the end of May. Cal Raleigh with number 20, and the Mariners have a 3-0 lead here.
Anytime you can do something for the first time in a game that's been around that long, it's pretty impressive. And it's not like a niche thing. That's a pretty big deal.
No, it's home runs.
Yeah.
They're kind of a big deal.
And he also became only the second batter this season to reach 20 home runs.
Well, he would surpass that, obviously. This weekend's going to have a lot of Cal stuff. That's just where he was on Friday. I will admit.
Just the beginning.
I thought that game was over in the first inning. I did. He and Randy go back to back. I'm like, okay, this thing's over.
Yeah.
This game's over. They were like I thought we were getting the good Mariners on Friday. They've been a little, fickle, two-faced, whatever phrase you like for them. They kind of go back and forth. But I thought we were getting the good Mariners on Friday. As it turns out, we did for a while.
Yeah, as you said, Rosarena followed that up with a solo shot. So they had a 4-0 lead early. And Brian Wu had another solid outing overall. He did give up a pair of runs in the 4th and a solo shot in the 7th to make it a 1-run game. But then things started to fall apart a little bit. Carlos Vargas came out for the 8th and did get out of that inning fairly easily. Cal even hit another home run in the bottom of the 8th, a 2-run shot that gave them a little insurance back up to a 6-3 lead. Unfortunately, this is where you never really think the wheels are going to fall off this season. With 1 runner aboard and 2 outs, Andres Munoz in the 9th first let Willie Castro hit a 2-run home run to bring Minnesota within 1, and then he gave up back-to-back singles to tie it. The M's offense went 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 9th, and then Casey Legumina started off the 10th with a 2-run bomb from Carlos Correa, a single from Lee. He did then get 2 outs, but allowed 2 walks, a single, and a double before recording the final out. It was just insane to see that end up going to a 12-6 game, and the Mariners were unable to rally from that point, which would have been pretty hard for anybody to do.
It looked almost exactly like what we had seen the night before from Colin Snyder. It was bizarre,
Where
both
things got out of
guys.
hand so quickly. I know Lyle is very adamant that he wants some bullpen reinforcements.
Well, it sounds like they're getting at least something today with this Joe Jakes guy, but
that's not exactly what I'm talking about.
No, I know that, but yeah, I mean, those are your non-leverage guys, right? Who are coming in after you've used up leverage. I mean, I get what you're saying, Lyle. I'm not disagreeing with you. They could use more bullpen help. But I don't think you lose that game Saturday because Legumina. You lose that game Saturday, unfortunately, because your unbelievable closer gives up 3 in the 9th. Like, that game should have been done.
You mean on Friday?
On Friday, excuse me.
Okay, but then on Saturday, you have Vargas come into the game.
I know. Yep.
Let me ask you this. Aside from Munoz, Brash, and Spire, are any of those, is anybody in this bullpen right now a comfortable watch? Do you feel comfortable? This is what I mean. You need more leverage arms in this bullpen.
You need more than 3. Now, when you've got those 3, you kind of feel like you should win every game, right? I mean, especially that's what made yesterday kind of a funky game. We'll get to it, I know. But you're like, all right, 1-0 game. You got Brash and Munoz. This thing should be over, right? This whole idea of they're playing a 7, 8, 9, whatever it is, 7 or 8 inning game. It didn't go that way that day either, but yeah, I looked at Friday and thought this is unfortunately just the one random day that Munoz blows it, as opposed to they're not deep enough in their pen. But yeah, look, Snyder and Legumina, it'd be nice if you could do better. Vargas to me has shown that he belongs in this bullpen. I know he's given it up a couple times, but I think those 2, yeah, if you can do better than that, you'd like to.
Yeah, and then just factor in the guys right at the bottom of the bullpen, too. I don't know. You just look at the best teams every year that usually win it all, and they've got a loaded bullpen come October.
Well, it's not, and you're absolutely right, because it's not just what you're doing in October. It's the amount of stress you put on those guys throughout July, August, etc. If you've got the more bullpen arms you have that you can trust, the less often you have to use each of them. So the more rest they can have and the better they tend to be by the time you get to October.
One small note after this game, too, you think the Mariners actually have a couple of healthy starting pitchers in Brian Wu and Luis Castillo, but apparently Brian Wu has been muscling through something small at least, but these things can become a bigger issue. He talked about it after the game.
Yeah, it was fine. We had a blister. I just didn't put glue on it before the inning started, but it's fine.
Is that something you've been dealing with at all?
Yeah, pretty much all season.
Well, it hasn't affected him much, that's for sure. He's been unbelievable, but you're right
hope
about
that doesn't get worse.
It can. I mean, man,
Yeah.
It sounds like such a small thing, but when those guys get blisters in the wrong part of their finger, it can be such a mess. It's rare. Who's a guy? Derek Lowe was a big blister guy, constantly dealing with that. Couple other guys. I'm trying to remember some of the other names off the top of my head, but yeah, it's a bummer because the problem is once you get them, it's really hard to make them go away. You're pitching every 5 days, and really not till the off season. It's just hard to give it enough rest for the blisters to ever really stop. So you got to deal with the pain. They do have some management stuff with the glue and some of the other things they use, but yeah, that stinks for him. Hopefully not a sign of a bigger problem to come. Lyle, just come back to the bullpen thing. Sorry, you kind of got my mind thinking on it. You think one of the things that will be in the back of their mind is you got to wait for all the starter stuff to shake out in the rotation here, but they know they've got 7 guys that they like. I do wonder whether the idea is, hey, look, we've got 2 other arms that we think are excellent, and because of it, and then once you get to the playoffs, you probably only need 4 starters anyway. You could legitimately be adding 3 excellent arms to your bullpen in October.
I don't think I'd do that.
Well, they may be. I mean, you got 3 guys that...
I mean, they tried it once with Logan Evans. He's a starter. Like that proved to be true last year when they tried it.
George Kirby looked pretty good as a reliever when he had to do it a couple of years ago.
And Robbie Ray?
Well, Robbie didn't look as good. He had some issues.
I would go out and get legitimate bullpen arms. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
All right. Saturday, Bryce Miller pitched 4 innings, giving up 5 hits and 3 runs, while walking 1 and striking out 2 in his return from injury. After a smooth 3-up, 3-down first inning, Miller gave up a walk and a home run to start the second. He gave up 2 more singles and hit a batter before escaping that inning, so the M's were already down 3-0. Miller only gave up 2 hits over the next 2 innings, and Cal Raleigh hit his 22nd home run of the season in the 3rd to bring the M's within 1. That's where things would stay in this one until J.P. Crawford launched a 401-foot 2-run shot to take a 4-0 lead.
Here comes the 3-2. Swing, fly ball, right field. It's got plenty. It's back, and it's gone! Off the facade beneath the windows. J.P. Crawford with an utter blast. It took the lights out, and the Mariners have grabbed a hold the lead. They are in front in the bottom of the 7th inning.
And he had quite the bat flip to go with that. I saw people online having some fun with that. I don't know if you guys saw it.
No.
He just kind of let it explode out of his hands. He knew right away. But the Twins were able to tie it up on the top of the 9th with Vargas giving up a single to Byron Buxton, allowing him to reach 3rd on a throwing error, and then allowing Trevor Larnach to drive him in and tie it. So it headed to extra innings. In comes Colin Snyder, who, just 2 nights before gave up 7 runs in the 10th inning to the Nationals. But he ended up pitching 2 scoreless innings with a little help from, I know, Salk, you were talking about this earlier, a great throw by Julio to get Matt Wallner at the plate in the top of the 10th. Then Cole Young.
Hold on. Whoa. Let's not just gloss over. Let's spend a moment. Let's give the man his due. Julio's struggles at the plate get a lot of attention, understandably, given all of the, hype and the contract and everything else. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be talking about it. We should, and we will, and it's part of the equation. Julio, you don't win that game if Julio's not in center field. Let me be very clear. You do not win that game if your center fielder can't uncork a 97-mile-an-hour dart, which I think would have been called a strike by most umpires that didn't bounce. That was as easy for Cal to handle or for Garver in that one. Garver, yeah. It was as easy for Garver to handle as it possibly could have. And that is a dart. As soon as that ball was hit, I said, well,
it seemed like he immediately was pointing at Julio after.
As he should be.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to score a run. I think Larner thought so too, because I'm not sure he was running as hard as maybe he should have been. Thought maybe he needed to be head down, chugging. I wonder if that's a conversation on Minnesota talk radio today, that the runner was not really going full bore. But it was an unbelievable defensive play from Julio, and it was one of 2 or 3 that he made over the course of the weekend.
Yes, and I'm excited to have you and Brock have the.
Oh, we'll debate. We'll talk at 7:30.
Our text there was interesting. Brock called it mom and dad fighting, and you were like, "We were fighting."
I didn't even think we were fighting. Were we fighting? Sometimes we fight. I didn't think we were fighting that time.
But yes, after the Julio throw, then you had Cole Young in his major league debut walking it off for the M's.
The pitch, swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base, throw home, not in time. It's a walk-off for the Mariners. Cole Young in his major league debut is showered with seeds and gum, and the water bucket in shallow right field. He has won it for the Mariners in the bottom of the 11th inning. Mastrobuoni scores 5-4 the final.
I know you already played that one, but it's a pretty cool moment. And then after the game, I know you already had him talk about the last 24 hours, but here's him talking a little bit about the nerves and how he calmed them.
I mean, I would say the first couple innings, I mean, a little nervous for sure. But after the first at-bat, I kind of realized, okay, it's the same game. It's the same as AAA, just a lot more people here. And then after I got my first hit, that's when I started to feel comfortable. And yeah, the last at-bat, I just kind of felt like I was back in Tacoma, just with my approach and everything. So I felt good after that.
Good for him. I don't know how you can convince yourself in that moment that you're back in Tacoma.
Well, I kind of like that he came out and swung at the very first pitch he saw. He's just like, hey, I'm here to swing. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, look, over the course of, it's a funny weekend. He's technically 1 for 7 with a batting average under 200, but he comes up with a big hit in that game and ends up, as you just played, having the game-winning RBI fielder's choice. It's a funky way to win a game, but the whole story around it being this call-up day, and that's his debut. I mean, it's always awesome when things like that happen. You hear about home runs in your debut, home runs in your first bat. I think the walk-off is cooler, right? I mean, like you were the guy who gets, showered after the game in water and gum and seeds and everything else,
well, especially
because
if you saw
you
his
did it.
Call-up video that they posted. He didn't seem to have any idea that was going to be the moment he was going to get called up. So it's a whirlwind 24 hours.
You would think. He must not have heard the Jerry DiPoto cuts from the previous day saying he's going to be a big leaguer soon.
I mean, I think he probably thought it was going to happen soon, but he definitely seemed shocked that it was that day.
Yeah, me too, because I thought it was going to happen before the game. For the life of me, I can't figure out why they waited a few hours. I don't get it, but whatever. It worked out. It worked out great.
All right, yesterday, Luis Castillo, your guy, continued his reliable consistency, going 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, no runs, 5 strikeouts. But the Mariners weren't scoring any runs on Twin starter Chris Paddock either. That was until Cal Raleigh decided it was time for his 4th home run of the weekend with a 362-foot shot in the 7th.
Whoa, wait a minute. Let's not gloss over Luis. I appreciate you want to get to more Cal. Cal's getting plenty of credit today. Let's talk about Luis.
Said he continued his reliable consistency that he.
Mora. Just let the Righteous Brothers take over.
He's been awesome.
Your touch. And
I feel like he's been awesome ever since we kind of started to doubt him. We started asking Passon about guys of a certain age and how they adjust, remember?
I don't remember any of that. Maybe you guys were asking that. That's my guy. That's Luis Castillo. That's The Rock. That's La Piedra. That's the guy I want to be buddies with. I want to just hang out with him. He was nailed. I don't want to go fishing. He can go fishing. I want to do everything else. He was nails yesterday. 6 innings, doesn't give up a run. Exactly what they needed. Tired bullpen after not just the previous 2 games, but a few games. Today they get the day of rest. They needed him to go 6 innings, and he did it. And he didn't give up a run. And I thought it was awesome. Awesome. Another awesome start for Luis Castillo.
Very well said.
Thank you.
You need more music or anything?
If you want more music, we can play more, but that's all I need.
Lyle, if you were going to have a song for a player that you love the most on this team, like Salk does, who would it be?
But Logan Evans isn't on the team right now, so you can't count him.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, it's Brian Wu for you. That's your guy.
Oh, well,
right?
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Well, it'd be the Woo by Pop Smoke, yeah, and we do that all the time.
Okay, all right.
Why is that funny?
It's funny. You don't think it's funny?
No, it is. I mean, that's his walkout song.
As it should be.
All right, where did we leave off? Oh, yeah, Cal Raleigh hitting another home run.
Yes, there you go. Back to that.
His 4th of the weekend in the 7th. Andres Munoz allowed a couple of runners in the 9th, and Harrison Bader was able to notch a sac fly to tie things at 1-1, but this game would not go to extras. In the bottom of the 9th, Julio hit a single, stole 2nd, and was able to advance to 3rd on a throwing error. Then Randy Arozarena got a base hit up the middle to drive Julio home.
1-1 tie, bottom of the 9th inning. The stretch, the 2-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball, up the middle, base hit. The Mariners win it. Randy Arozarena jumps on first base. A walk-off single. Julio scores, and the Mariners win it 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins. Second consecutive walk-off win for the Mariners in this series.
I mean, and it was huge for Rosarena to come up big there, but I know because you were making a point about what all the things Julio did this weekend, he wanted to give Julio all the credit for getting in that position after the
As he should. I mean, they don't win that game without Julio either. Guy gets on base, steals second, goes to third on the throw. Now you don't even need a hit to win. Now they got to bring the infield in, except they don't. What is going on with managers? What am I missing? Lyle, Maura, both of you, anyone else out there, and I'm psyched the Mariners won. For the life of me, I don't understand this. I've been watching this for years now. You've got Randy Arozarena up, 1 out, man on third in the 9th. Why in the world aren't you walking Randy to pitch to Rowdy Tellez, who's an unbelievable double play candidate? I guess you've got the righty-lefty thing to worry about, but in my mind, don't you want to have how much more advantage do you have having the infield back and trying to get out Rowdy Tellez and get him to ground into a double play?
This seems like a passing question. When you're asking like why the league overall is.
The league seems to be, eschewing the double play in order to bring the infield in. I know strikeouts are at an all-time high, so maybe that's the idea. Is like, hey, we're going to try to strike the guy out. But I am amazed. Why wouldn't you walk him, pitch to Rowdy Tellez, who's hitting 206 and is the slowest guy on the team, one of the slowest guys in the league? Bizarre, absolutely bizarre to me, and I love it. Randy gets the big knock, and they end up getting the win. I told you I was listening to the game. You guys were watching it. If the infield is at double play depth, do they get to that ball and turn a double play, or is it a hit no matter what? I guess it doesn't really matter because it wouldn't have been Randy hitting it, but it dawns on me that you bring the infield in, it's a whole lot easier to get hits through the infield. Strange idea. Whatever, we'll take it. Excited, happy.
It felt like for that stretch where they were struggling a little there, that maybe they had lost some of that late game magic, and it was nice this weekend to see that they have not.
Totally agree.
Well, we'll give a shout out to maybe one of the other people that's as hot as Cal Raleigh right now, Scotty Scheffler, won the Memorial Tournament with a 2-under-70 for a 4-shot victory. Scheffler and Tiger Woods are now the only repeat winners of that tournament. ESPN research says that Scheffler is the first player to win 3 PGA Tour events by 4 or more shots in consecutive seasons since Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, and Byron Nelson in 1945 and 46.
He's unbelievable. He's the most inevitable thing right now in all of sports. Like, you know he's coming. You see him up there in the leaderboard, and I watched a lot of that yesterday morning, and you're like, I don't even know why these other guys are here. Ben Griffin, see ya, dude. Like, you don't have a chance against Scotty late. There's just no way you're going to win this. He's coming, and he's going to he's so Terminator-like. He just keeps coming and coming. He's a machine. He really is as much like the Terminator as anything I can think of in sports, because there's just kind of like no mistakes, and when he does, he finds a way to get out of them. He's just amazing. Just amazing.
Is his wins more inevitable than Rocky's losses? Because in the month of May, they're both at 3.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they're about the same.
I think it's even funnier, too, because, like, you talk about him being Terminator. Like, he's also, like, the least intimidating guy.
I know, right? He's like a big, gentle giant. Yeah.
Let's see. Well, quickly to the Storm. Unfortunately, after rebounding from a lopsided game 1 loss to start the season, they had won 3 straight. Then over last weekend, they dropped 3 straight. So most recently Sunday with a 75-70 loss to the Aces.
I think that's kind of who they may be this year. Some ups, some downs, etc. That seems about right. All right. It's a good weekend. Lots going on. I did watch the 1987 Stanley Cup Finals Saturday morning for a little while. It was on TV. There was nothing else on at like 9:30 in the morning. I was
Who
like,
was in that one?
Edmonton and Philly. Got to watch Grant Fuhr and Ron Hextall both in net. Still had guys without helmets. Refs, linesmen, no helmets.
Crazy.
Man, you had to essentially assault somebody to get a hooking call or a tripping call. Like, it was pretty crazy to watch. But you know what? The game still looks roughly the same, other than the butterfly goalies. Like, the game still looks pretty similar. Pretty cool. All right, there you go. Thank you, Maura. Great trip around the weekend. And I'm sorry I dragged us back to 1987. Let's see. All right, well, let's talk about this. We will get to Cal and Julio and Polanco. I've got Mariners win 2 out of 3, so that's 2 positives, 1 negative. We're going to spend 2 positives and 1 negative at 7:30. Cal, Julio, and Polanco. 2 positives, 1 negative. That's coming up, and Brock will be in next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only John Morosi is with us. We're trying to figure out what's going to be happening as we approach the trade deadline.
For me, the lineup is still the spot where I would focus on the most. This team has shown they've got plenty of pitching. They always do. The second half of the lineup, for me, is what's going to be the difference between them having a good chance at a postseason berth and a team that can win around.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Business leaders know to solve a problem, you got to look at it in a new way. Like travel between Seattle and Portland. Why is it such a pain? I-5 traffic, TSA slowdowns, SeaTac hassles. Seaport removes those pain points. We fly out of Boeing Field and a private terminal at PDX. You park for free, steps away from your plane. And with flights every 45 minutes, you're always home for dinner. Problem solved. Seaport Airlines. It's about time.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13. Delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible postgame show on Friday, June 13th, presented by T-Mobile, after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Strong play call. Triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a patriotic palooza on July 3rd and an 80s show on July 18th. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, including a Father's Day socks giveaway Sunday, June 15th, thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Text
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to accuse you of many.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now, here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Yes, we are moving along here. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
I'm so good today. How are you?
Oh, it's just a whirlwind, man. Yeah. This has been like a 9-day stretch of about as many miles as the Mariners travel in a year. I mean, it's been crazy. Maybe that's a little exaggeration, but it's been, crisscrossing the country and driving through. You know what always amazes me? I don't know if it amazes you, and I don't know the last time you drove 6, 8, 10 hours, 12 hours. How many bugs hit your windshield and the front of your car?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, legitimately.
So you're saying your car is like Cal Raleigh's bat and the bugs are like whatever's being thrown his way?
Pretty
They
much.
just all hit because that's how it goes?
Like you drive through Nebraska in the afternoon in June, and there's, I mean, there's 1,000, 10,000 bugs. It's impossible to count. You can fill up your gas tank and totally clean your whole windshield, and then you start driving, and all of a sudden, I don't know, things from Jurassic Park are just splattering on your windshield again. Yeah, and that's probably where the comp comes to Cal Raleigh and what he's done here by June 2nd, Salk. And I don't say this lightly, and I don't even think I've ever said it about Julio. When Julio had his stretch in August, you know, a couple years ago where it was, he hit like 440. I mean, it was just superhuman stuff. The summer before when he had a stretch through June and July when they went on one of the most epic win streaks the Mariners have ever seen. I don't think you ever heard me say this. As superhuman as he was, I don't think you heard me say, like, yeah, these are Griffey vibes. Yeah, I mean, this is giving me back to my childhood in the 90s where Griffey was like, I mean, what's he going to do next? How is he able to do things that nobody else in the sport can do, chasing things down, climbing the walls in center field, and then just seemingly hitting a home run anytime and every time he wants to? And right now, that's Cal Raleigh. And I don't think there's been a Mariner since Ken, and the stats back this up, doing things that the rest of the league turns their head and goes, wow. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm kind of speechless with the level of production this guy's having right now. It is to that level.
I was wondering, it didn't happen. I asked Lyle this question earlier in the 9th inning yesterday. If Julio had not gotten on to start that inning, and there's one out, tie game in the 9th, are you pitching a Cal? Or are you going to put him on base, put the winning run on base?
Yeah, so behind him yesterday,
it would have been Randy
right?
followed by Rowdy.
Yeah.
I think I'd have walked him.
I think I'm going to let Randy and Rowdy beat me.
Absolutely. Like, if it's me, now he ended up getting the hit. He steals the bag, goes to third. At that point, you kind of don't fully have the choice. Although, you could make an argument that once he got to third base, the thing to do would have been to walk Cal at that point and try to set up a double play with Randy. But I don't know that I would have pitched to him.
Yep.
With nobody on, one out. I think I'm walking him because he'd already hit 4 home runs. Brock, he accounted for 8 of the 13 runs the Mariners had this weekend. Wow. The non-Cal portion of the lineup had 5 runs. Cal had 8.
Yeah.
That is a remarkable number. And yes, there's probably a little conversation in there about what's going on with the rest of this lineup, but it doesn't matter when Cal is superhuman, when he is roided out Barry Bonds, essentially, from the late what would that be, about 2007, late 2000-aughts. I mean, like, that's what he looks like right now. It's crazy. It's crazy what he's doing.
Is it Rocco Baldelli?
Yes.
Is that the manager for the Twins? As he said in his post game yesterday, the difference, Salk, is Cal has always, had these spurts in him. He's hit 30 home runs. He's hit 30 home runs. He's not intriguing to some, but he's hit 30 home runs and 30 home runs.
Thank you.
But the difference is right now his ability to cover so many different pitches. Right? It was John Schneider, not the John Schneider, the other John Schneider in Toronto that said, yeah, man, you make your pitches to this guy and you're going to get him out. Well, you're not doing that anymore. Right? I mean, right now, the quality of his at-bats too. Like even if you get him out, even if he does strike out, it's usually on a 6, 7, 8, 9 pitch at bat, right? I mean, it cannot be just simply this torpedo.
Yeah, I think the one that the home run that jumped out to me of all of them was, and I'm now forgetting which one it was in terms of the timing, but the one that was up outside the zone, the fastball high. I think it was the first one on Friday night. Maybe it was the second one on Friday. Who the heck knows, man? The guy hit so many home runs, it's hard to keep them all straight. But the conversation had been, all right, with Cal, or maybe it was even one against Washington. Who the heck knows, man? This guy's hitting so many home runs. But the whole idea was, yeah, they're starting to maybe find a little hole up. They're throwing high strikes when he's hitting lefty, throwing it high above the zone with the fastball, trying to get him to chase that pitch at his eyes. And then he takes a pitch that's 6 inches above the strike zone, 98 miles an hour, and deposits it in right field over the fence.
That was his first one Saturday.
That's what I thought.
He was on the call of that. Yeah,
okay.
That was in the early innings of. Yeah. Yeah, how you get to that one? How do you get your barrel to that one, and how do you hit it 373 feet? How do you do
remarkable. That? He's just finding new ways to get it done. And oh, by the way, while playing the most demanding position on the field and keeping a pitching staff kind of exactly where it is. I mean, it's one thing after another for Cal, and he is the story. We're going to debate some other guys. We'll talk more about Cal at 7:30. We'll talk Julio. We're going to talk Polanco. 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 guys who are hot and 1 who's not. That's what we're going to do at 7:30. But it's a huge weekend series win for the Mariners. You lose that game yesterday or Saturday, and it's a very different vibe, a very different conversation coming off that Washington loss where you're like, a little teetering, right? We're calling for action on Friday. It comes late on Friday. It's kind of weird timing, but it happens on Friday, and you get Cole Young, and he comes up with the big play on Saturday. And then yesterday, Julio finding a way to get on third base. Just, God, that's a really, really big series win for them.
I think, over all of these years and nearly 2 decades of doing this, I think the one thing that has really stuck, many things have stuck that you have said about the sport of baseball. And I know early on, in emotion, it's like you can't lose that game. Baseball teams don't lose that game. Pennant winners don't lose those games. And you're like, no, they do lose those games. They lose a lot of games over the course of a baseball season. But what you do, I think, find when you get to kind of the finish line and you look back, you realize, yeah, you know what quality teams do? They're able to stop those things before they become an
It's the bounce back. We compared the Mariners a couple weeks ago when they were at their best, and Scotty Scheffler won the PGA, maybe? We were making a comp between them that they both had a feel of inevitability, right? I mean, and with Scotty, you saw it again this weekend. But one thing that they've both done very well, and Scotty's obviously in his own planet in terms of success right now, is Scotty's got, I think, the best scoring average in all of golf after bogeys.
That makes sense.
He probably has it on all holes anyway, but his ability to bounce back after bogeys and either par or even better birdie the next hole is better than anybody else in golf. And I think that's kind of what you're saying. These two sports do have a fair amount in common. Not everything, but they do have a lot in common. And if you can bounce back from those bad losses, they weren't able to do it after Thursday, right? They come back and have almost the identical loss on Friday. And then you're like, geez, Saturday looked like it could have gone the same way. And instead, you find a way to win that game. You find a way to win yesterday. And I think those bounce backs, I think that's what you're talking about, right? They're just so important for the team.
That's exactly right. You just don't let one mistake turn into another mistake, and one bad feeling turn into another, and all of a sudden you look up at the standings and you're 9-50. I mean, that's the Colorado Rockies. You're 9-50, Salk. 9-50.
That's a different game that they're playing. That's not baseball. That is something else entirely. All right, we'll debate a little bit here. Coming up at 7:30, as I said, 2 hots, 1 not. Before we do it, we'll give you everything you need to know, including what it sounded like as Cole Young made his debut this weekend. We got a whole lot more. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason, OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And Seattle Sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC this afternoon beginning at 2. Complete insider coverage at seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Stewart here, and I have had my share of some sports injuries through the years. I was at a wedding just a couple weeks ago and saw some of my old Seattle teammates, and just seeing the pain that they're in as well now, hitting their 40s and the 50s, playing on the concrete back in the day that we had to play on. It takes some wear and tear on your body, but you don't have to play pro sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that is where my buddy, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine over there in Kirkland, that's where he comes to play. He has seen so many patients suffering from chronic joint pain caused by everything in the itis family. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques. You heard me right, over 30 years. Many have jumped aboard lately in the regenerative medicine game, not Dr. Nelson. This has been his business for well over 30 years. So no matter what walks through the door, he's been there, he's done it, he's seen it. And now, well, yeah, he's got stem cell therapy, a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your body's healing potential. So if you're in pain this morning, it's affecting your quality of life, give my buddy a call, 425-823-4000, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 62225, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. The ice may have melted, but spring is the perfect time for a new roof. Call Techline Roofing. Take advantage of our easy financing and our spring special. That's TEKLINE roofing.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Lift off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked, even if you have no symptoms. Ask your primary care doc for a PSA screening if you're 50 or over, and 45 if there's a family history. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish Cyberknife right here in Seattle. It only takes 5 short treatment sessions. Go to swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, tons of walk-offs this weekend. 2 of them for the Mariners. One Saturday, one Sunday, all coming off a bad loss Friday. Gave up a couple of leads in that one. Got smoked in extra innings. And then the exact opposite Saturday and Sunday. The old recipe. Excellent starting pitching, big-time home runs, and some very timely hitting, including this one from the kid Cole Young.
The pitch. Swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base, throw home. Not in time! It's a walk-off for the Mariners. Cole Young in his Major League debut is showered with seeds.
We'll play more from him in a moment, Brock, but he was only part of the story because they kind of did it all. It was mostly Cal.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, crushed, right field. It's on its way. Goodbye. Cal Raleigh does it again.
Yeah, it was, number 22. This was Randy Arozarena winning a game for them.
1-1 tie, bottom of the 9th inning. The stretch, the 2-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball, up the middle, base hit. The Mariners win it. Randy Arozarena jumps on first base. A walk-off single. Julio scores, and the Mariners win it 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins. Second consecutive walk-off win for the Mariners in this series.
As they win the series 2-1, they win the game 2-1. Cal, 4 home runs in 3 games.
Series kind of feel playoff vibey, like when you matched up against the good teams, right? In the American League and the National League, the games have just had a kind of a feeling of, sheesh, a lot of arms are used, a lot of big leverage moments, a lot of enormous at-bats where you come through, where you don't come through, where you deliver, where you don't deliver. Like, yeah, man, that thing got the emotions just, I don't think it was just me. It was a lot of my friends texting, just the emotions revving over the weekend with big moment after big moment after big moment.
Yeah,
As
the
you
back
said,
and forth moments.
Yeah, coming off a series loss. Nice to get a series win. Nice to get a day off. And nice to see Cal doing things that, well, really only Salvador Perez and Carlton Fisk in the history of modern baseball have done as far as a catcher.
Throw a little credit at one guy who I think deserves it, and you, I think, very accurately, Brock, before the game yesterday said, hey, they need something big from Luis. The pen is pretty pretty beat up, and they got it. 6 innings of shutout ball was huge.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got the 2 fastballs like he does, and he's got the velo on him like he did today, it makes the changeup and slider so much better. And I thought today he and Cal had a really good game plan against this team. It's tough. They've got some lefties in there with a little bit of thump, and they went after him and had a good game plan against all of them, and kept us right where we needed to be. Obviously, 6 scoreless is huge for us right there, and set up our bullpen, perfectly.
Yeah, and then they get the day off today to continue to rest that bullpen. Baltimore comes in for 3, most disappointing team, inarguably, really, in the league this year. So good opportunity to hopefully take advantage of that, and then also to maybe scout some bats that could be available in the next 2 months.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot on Friday. Thought it might happen before that game. It ends up happening during the Rainiers game, and he made his debut on Saturday. But Cole Young does make his debut for the Mariners. It was a good one. Had a hit in that one. The walk-off, as we said, the game-winning RBI, fielder's choice. Had a walk in there as well. Pretty fun weekend for this kid, huh?
For as torturous as the game of baseball can be, and it is torturous. It just kind of moves at a pace where you got to just sit in some of that pain when it's difficult and tough. The mountaintop moments are also on the other end of that spectrum incredible.
Did you hear?
And to see his family, to just see mom and dad and friends, like brothers. I don't know who they all were, all gathered there. They had camera on them, and that at bat and extra innings and just to imagine, Salk, just the journey, right? Through all the youth baseball and all the scouting and the draft and the minors and, a setback this spring with his arm, just when he was poised to kind of push and he couldn't do it. And then to go on fire and Fuego in the month of May and then to get his chance in his first big league game and to be up in that moment when they need him to hit a little squibbler that actually scores a run. Just, one of those moments that whole family, I know, probably didn't sleep much Saturday night.
Well, he was pretty emotional.
That was unreal. I can't even describe it. The past 24 hours, it has been insane. I mean, I never thought I would be in that situation to hit a walk-off in my debut, but I was unreal.
Lyle said he wasn't crying, but he sounds kind of like he's crying.
Nah, he wasn't crying.
He sounds like he's crying.
No, that's how the kids do it today.
Oh, they just try to sound like they're crying?
They just kind of.
He sounds like Bruce Willis in Die Hard when he's picking glass out of his foot and he's trying to talk to Al about his wife. She never heard me say I'm sorry.
Lyle, you seen Die Hard?
No, nope. He's never seen it. It's just, let's just move on. No, great to have Bryce Miller back as well. Returned was okay. Casey Legumina sent down to make room, and it does sound like they made a small move, Brock, yesterday. Joel Sherman reporting they're acquiring lefty Joe Jakes from the Dodgers, who has been in AAA, and I would think would start in Tacoma.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
OTA practices continuing today, and for the first time open to the media. So I'm going out there, Brock, excited to watch. What do you mean, oh boy?
Did you get the jersey? I sent you a jersey. It didn't arrive at the house last night, so you could wear it today, the Milrow jersey?
No.
Oh, seriously?
I'm Milrow jersey free, thank you. But my eyes are going to be on Jalen Milrow, I'll tell you that much. They're going to be on Sam Darnold as well. He talked about throwing to Jackson Smith and Jigba.
He's kind of similar to Coop that way where, he does things a little different, as do a lot of receivers, and just being able to get reps, like I said. That's the biggest thing at this time of the year, getting to know these guys personally and getting to get a feel for how they're running the routes. And now we're finally going up against the defense here in phase 3, which helps a ton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so much to see, Salky. You're going to probably do a roll call. I don't know if you need your Ebenezer's when you see Brady there or not. Probably with the 4 front rosters.
Yeah.
During OTA season where there's 90 guys on it. Good luck with that.
No chance.
Told the coach the other day, he printed out, the practice schedule with the scripts. And honestly, it was 6 font.
Yeah, I can't.
And I'm like, bro, even with my readers, what are we doing here? this is not going to be a tenable situation for the old man on this.
Right. What are you talking about?
Yeah, let's get the font a little bit.
How about this from Jaron Reed? Mora sent this over, talking about the offensive line. He says, you can sense the physicality of the O-line. They're coming off the ball low and hard. We've got some good guys on there. I think that goes to the coaching and the offensive coordinator we brought in. I think they're cooking up something really good. Asked how he could sense that in a padless, no-contact practice, Reed said, it's the intent. It's their mentality.
Yeah, in Blue 88, I'm gonna break that down a little further, whether that is just veteranese this time of year, where a veteran's kind of building up the other side and maybe adding some confidence to a young O-line and maybe has heard all this stuff about how bad the O-line is and wants to speak to some of that. So Blue 88, 15, 20 minutes? We'll dig in.
All right, sounds good. That's everything you need to know, quarter past every hour. Mariners are wrapping up this homestand tomorrow. Gets going the final series with the Orioles. You can look forward to Bark in the Park, Pride Month, and Mariners value games. Fans can purchase tickets for all of those games during the homestand here at mariners.com/tickets. It's going to be beautiful, too.
Yeah, it looked like some good crowds. 39,000 there yesterday, I saw. It was kind of rocking, right? The night before. My buddy Sheldon, the entire Idaho staff, thank you to the crew and everybody to put that together. They all enjoyed the game Saturday night. Got to see the walk-off there. So, yeah, just compelling theater, man, on a beautiful stage. And as you said, going to be just a gorgeous week. I told you, Salk, it's a La Nina summer. I mean, you wouldn't believe me. I told you it was an Indian La Nina
I don't think
summer.
I ever didn't believe you. I mean, it's been gorgeous out every freaking day. It's perfect. And, yeah, good opportunities to get out to the ballpark here this week. All right, coming up next, speaking of hot weather, well, let's do a little heat check on 3 Mariners in the crosshairs. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only, John Morosi is with us. We're trying to figure out what's going to be happening as we approach the trade deadline.
For me, the lineup is still the spot where I would focus on the most. This team has shown they've got plenty of pitching. They always do. The second half of the lineup, for me, is what's going to be the difference between them having a good chance at a postseason berth and a team that can win around.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
All right, we're talking about the heat and the early summer. Well, summer here in Western Washington, means a lot of great stuff. Beach, barbecues, golf, vacation maybe you've been looking forward to. And then you're going to want to take pictures and you want to look and feel your very best, right? Well, Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help with that. And trust me, you can do this super fast. I lost 15 pounds in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds total after just 8. It works. So schedule a 15-minute no obligation consult right now by going to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no exercise, no pills, no injections, no surgery, nothing like that. It's all real food. You buy it at the grocery store, and they give you great recipes, so it tastes good, and you're not hungry while you're doing the program. Man, this thing works. You got to find the secret out by, starting with a 15-minute phone call. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com to schedule. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
Experience the thrill of a lifetime this summer with a share of $320,000 in prizes. We're making waves every Saturday in June from 3 to 10 p.m. with double winners every hour. Come one, come all to the Coastal Carnival of Cash. Claim one free daily entry. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
Sometimes even heroes need rescuing.
I'm a retired firefighter, 27 years.
Kurt had severe pain in his knees and his shoulder, which was keeping him from enjoying his well-deserved retirement.
Loved to ski, loved to fish, and couldn't even walk 18 holes.
That's why Kurt decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
He was just awesome. He goes, yeah, give me a shot. And he took care of me. He stemmed my knee and my shoulder.
And how are you feeling now?
I was pain-free in 12 weeks. I play golf now pain-free, and it's awesome.
So you'd recommend this treatment to others in your situation?
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Wagner's, he's had a couple people call me, and I recommended that they do it.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
2 wins, 1 loss. So 2 guys that are really making a difference in a positive way, and 1 cause for concern here over the next 15 minutes. Kind of a little heat check. We got the hottest of the hot. You got the heat lies in the hands of the beholder in the middle, and then the depths of the ice caves or something. We'll get to that last. Let's start with Cal, Brock. Hotter than the hot, right? I mean, just what he's doing. We spent a few minutes on it a half hour ago. We'll spend another couple minutes on it here. He is just freakish right now in all of the right ways. I kind of made a comp earlier to like the roided out Barry Bonds era when Bonds is putting up, bold face numbers and italics on Baseball Reference in nearly every category. It's not quite to that extent because he's not done it for as long, and you don't get all the walks that Barry Bonds had once they just decided there was no reason ever to throw him a pitch because every single pitch in the strike zone was hit for a home run. But he's putting up some pretty crazy numbers and doing it here in Seattle and doing it kind of by himself at times on this team. 8 of the 13 runs scored this weekend came via Cal Raleigh home runs.
And do I understand if things changed? Is Shannon Drayer, the keeper of Cal, going to be in 27 minutes?
That's my understanding.
For the entire hour? She's going to come in for the entire hour on a Monday morning?
I haven't heard from her, but yeah.
I mean, on an off day?
That's what we talked about. She was going to be here from 8 to 9, yeah.
What do you mean you haven't heard from her?
I haven't heard from her this morning.
Are we going to run into one of these situations again?
Probably.
All right, with one of your guest bookings that's
my guest booking that you got all weirded out about last week turned out just fine, so let's tone it down. And my next guest booking, by the way, is tomorrow when we're supposed to talk to Mike McDonald at 9:30.
Wow,
so I don't need to hear it out of you. I don't need to hear it out of you.
We'll see if that actually comes.
I think we're going to be just fine.
I am curious to talk to Shannon on a couple different fronts. Number one, and there was a cool little video circulating, a bunch of videos all weekend long. It was a video weekend. I sent you the video of Haley's bachelorette party in Nashville. Saw the beautiful little picture or video of Ty France coming back to town over there, hanging out with some of his old teammates and their families, which was really cool. I saw the video of Cal on the field there with Mr. France, with Ty, showing off his torpedo bat. And I'm just kind of curious to ask Shannon, like, how much of this torpedo bat has really played somewhat of a role in this, even just kind of confidence, or is it, Salk, like, you know, that club you get in your hands for a stretch where you're just like, I don't care. I don't care what the lie is. I don't care what the distance. I don't care. I'm just gonna.
I feel
it's
good.
gonna be absolutely nails.
Yeah.
You
just start getting that level of confidence where you kind of.
Yes, Lyle.
Oh, Cal gave a couple of his torpedo bats to Ty over the weekend.
Oh,
so
great.
that was interesting. I think Ty's been using his own model, but Cal gave him one of his own Friday. I heard then Cal broke one of his bats Friday, so he had to say to Ty on Saturday, "Hey, I need that back."
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but then Cal's like, "I'll get you another one at some point." But,
so he's not responsible for Ty coming up with a couple of really big hits in the series. One to help the Twins win on Friday, and one that didn't end up factoring.
So is it
in
the torpedoes?
yesterday.
Is it getting the contract that just all of a sudden, you know, kind of settles you down that much more? Is it just the maturation?
Why can't it be all those things?
Through 1,600 at bats, probably is.
Like a little bit of all of them. I think you do have to point to the contract, though, and say that maybe he's one of those guys that he settled down afterwards. Look, the Cal contract story is a great one, right? I mean, we've talked about the fact that for the most part, the majority of guys get a big contract and relax. It is more common to see numbers drop after a big contract than not. There are guys, and we've heard about this, and I think the player that came to mind, because this is what was told to me about Ketel Marte, was that he was a guy that was always freaked out about it. And once he got the big contract in Arizona, it just chilled him out and gave him the confidence to kind of put up the monster numbers he has over the last few years. Cal's story is that he fired Scott Boras. He moved on and went with a different agent before signing a big deal. Do you think that he's in that category of a guy who's like, I don't want to think about this anymore. I don't want to think about my future. I want to just focus 100% on baseball, and that's hard with this kind of hanging out over
Where
me.
would Salky be in that spectrum?
Me?
Yeah, where would Salky be?
I would be closer to that Ketel Marte, Cal Raleigh side, I think. Yeah, I would like that all taken care of so that I can deal with what's in front of me.
Go be free to do my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'd spend all my time thinking about it.
Yeah, and I think where the constructs of baseball is and what may be looming in the years ahead as well.
Yep.
Right? Like, man, am I going to be one of these guys just stuck in this spot where kind of my service time and everything comes due at a time where there may be a lockout and a whole reconstruction of the financial model and process in baseball?
Yeah, just get that thing locked in, man.
Let's
just be done with all of it. And it sure seems to be helping. All right. He's the hottest of the hot. In between is a guy that is as polarizing at times as anybody. It's funny. I never thought we'd be saying this. But Julio Rodriguez, I thought, had a monster weekend. I don't think you win either of the two games you win without Julio doing specific Julio things. And it's not the fact that he went 5 for 13, although he did. He did this on Saturday.
Here it comes. Swinging, he golfs it into shallow center field. It drops in for a base hit. Walner hits third, being waved in. Julio's throw is on its way. Play at the plate. Tag applied. Got him at home. A four-seam strike from Julio in straightaway center field. Cuts down the go-ahead run in the top of the 10th inning.
How about that, man? That was a 97-mile-an-hour dart. If I'm on Twins radio this morning in Minnesota, I'm probably having a little conversation about Wallner's lack of hustle on that play. You got to be running a little harder than that, buddy. But unbelievable throw by Julio. Just unbelievable throw.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was Griffey-esque. Griffey would come up on a ball like that and throw those same kind of lasers. And it was accurate, and it was a time like, oh, no. You want to talk about just kind of stopping power? Right? We talk about that with guys hitting, in particular linebackers and safeties having a stopping power. You want to talk about a stopping power play for the entire weekend that just kind of stopped the negative momentum.
Yes.
Right? Like, oh my gosh.
Because you're supposed to score a run there, right? I mean, like you see that hit and you're like, oh, I mean, I said it. I was like, oh, well, there you go. There's a run. Oh my God, he just threw him out. Like, what? That is a spectacular defensive play by Julio. And he made a couple of others over the course of the weekend. He had the diving, sliding catch coming in as well. And then yesterday, he gets on in the 9th, tie game, which forces them to pitch to Cal, by the way, steals second, money bag, and goes to third on a bad throw. Now all it takes is a fly ball to bring him in. Look, you don't win those 2 games without Julio doing exactly what he did, and it's not just 5 for 13. I know we've had a lot of debates about Julio, the hitter, the ups, the downs. Brock, I know he frustrates the hell out of you at times, but his ability to do the other things, I think, is just incredible.
Yeah, and I don't give enough credit to that. Like, I just, you just assume. And that's with stars, it's what you do. You just assume they're going to make every play in center field. You just assume that when they get on the base pass, they're going to be a terror. And that's not fair to those guys, right? I mean, that's 2/3 of the game is his defense and what he does on the path, on the base pass, and the other third is hitting. And yes, hitting with runners in scoring position and clutch moments, he's not Cal. Some of the processing frustrates me. What Hembo talked about, Salk, the stats don't lie. Right, what him and Garver and Randy are not doing against fastballs, and especially at Julio's age. It's one thing at Randy and Garver at 30 and 35, but at Julio's age, man, this is where you jump on those fastballs. You damage those fastballs. You've got to get to those fastballs, and the fact that that's not happening consistently, it frustrates me. But, man, it is not impacting the other parts of the game that he pressurizes, that he is on an over 6 WAR pace now, 6.5 WAR pace.
Isn't incredible?
Pretty darn close to it, right? Even without doing consistent damage at the plate that, his buddy Cal sure is.
Well, and you still think that that's probably going to come at some point, right? I mean, like, he's doing all of that without what you assume we'll get is one of those month-long tears where Julio's the best hitter in ball for a month. It hasn't happened yet. But in the meantime, he's been okay. He's been good. Again, 5 for 13 this weekend, and you probably didn't really notice it because there were some of those big moments where he strikes out or can't come up with a hit in the spot that could have won them a game. But if you're going to go 5 for 13, steal money bags, and throw a 97-mile-an-hour dart to save a game, that's probably a really good long-term thing for the Mariners. Now, though, as I said, mostly positive vibes coming off a positive, tremendous weekend, but because of the one loss, we'll throw one other moment, I don't even really know what to call what's happening right now with Jorge Polanco, but he's won for his last 31.
Say it again?
I think I have those numbers right. I think he's won for his last 31.
Oh, boy.
What's going on? I mean, he was the best player in baseball at times over the first month of the season, and he's won for his last 31. The month of May, he has come crashing back to earth, and it's hard, right? You're still kind of thinking like, oh, he's going to come through because he did so often over the first month of the season. But we now have a year and 2 months of a sample size on Polanco. Is it that he just happened to have one hot month amidst what's really just kind of been a disastrous couple of years? Or was that the only month during which he was healthy? Except he wasn't. We know he wasn't fully healthy during that month because he was only hitting from the left side, during that month. I can't tell what the heck is going on with him, man. I really can't.
Yeah, it is 1 for 31, Salk. It's 10 for his last 76 through the whole month of May into June. That was a guy that, hit you all the bombs. That was a guy that was on kind of a Cal Raleigh kind of tear, through the first April and the first, a week or so of May. And then it just is totally hit the skids. And it's really difficult to judge with your eyes, especially the optics that we get to see with those at-bats and everything else. It's really hard for me. It'd be just totally stupid and speculative for me to say, oh, no, I can tell. I could tell that it's an ab. I can tell it's a knee. I could tell. We can't. I mean, we don't know. And he's a pretty tough dude and played through all the injury last year, bless his heart, where you did see him dragging that leg, limping around, trying to play in the field. And you're like, yeah, that thing is just not right. And then to just come out and have such a start. It's hard to fathom. This doesn't feel like it's just baseball. this feels physically like there's something. And yet Justin and Dan and everybody kind of like, no, kind of going the hockey route on that thing. And like, no, he's fine. We're not even going to list an injury. You know, if this were the NFL where you've got a list, or the NBA where you've got a list every injury, Salk, that's keeping you out of practice or what have you, this is not a different sport, different game. You don't have that. The only thing you've got is an IL stint, and to this point, they're not going down that road.
I really did think that's what was going to happen on Friday. I was pretty convinced that we would see Cole Young, and we did late on Friday. I was pretty convinced it was going to be for Polanco. It wasn't. It was for Leo Rivas. And I was surprised. That's all.
Lyle, you've been around there a bunch. I saw you. My boy Benetti had his wandering eyes all over you. Sent me a picture of Lyle. Who were you interviewing? Adam Wainwright at that point? Were you chatting with Adam in that picture?
Yeah.
So you've been all over it. Your sniffer's been all over. And what are you sniffing? What are you feeling? What are you sensing with Polanco?
I mean, I've always had the sense he's battling something. Nobody said it, but it's such a 180. And I'm not saying he was going to keep up what he was doing in April all year, but to play the way he's playing right now, it just feels like you said it, Brock. It's something more than just baseball.
Yeah. Do you think Lyle will ever be able to fill the shoes of Scoop Dog, Salky? Do you think there will ever come a time in the maturation of one Lyle Goldstein where the skill set?
Nope.
Is it 1,200 at bats?
Nope, I don't think so. No, I think that's a different player.
2,000 at bats.
I think you're just talking about a pitcher versus a hitter. Like I don't think that those two things.
Are we going to get Scoop Dog?
No.
Are you familiar, Lyle? Are you familiar with Scoop Dog?
You might have to fill me in.
Oh, I thought you grew up listening to the show.
No,
remember?
He didn't. Stop it. No. He doesn't remember anything from this show.
Patrick Mahomes. Dad bod? This is Stu Dizzle, a.k.a. Scoop Dog, here to give you the latest goss on this weekend's game.
Let's hope Lyle never turns into that. The best thing Lyle has going is that he's not Boy Howdy. Coming up, Brock, at 8 o'clock, Shannon's supposed to be here. We're going to talk a whole lot more baseball with her. In the meantime, let's do a few minutes of football talk with some Blue 88.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Heward breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, I read you this quote from Jaron Reed earlier. Curious if you could spend a few more minutes kind of breaking down what he's talking about. Let me read it again. In talking about the offensive line, he says, you can sense the physicality of the O-line. They're coming off the ball low and hard. We've got some good guys on there. I think that goes to the coaching and the offensive coordinator we brought in. I think they're cooking up something really good. He was asked, how can you tell since they're not hitting? And he said, it's the intent. It's their mentality.
Yeah, I think there's a little veteran ease there. Jaron's been around the block. He's been here for the longest time. He left for a little bit. But when you consider when he started, Salk, and come back, he's got to be the longest tenured Seahawk, right? That has been there and kind of done it
for sure. Yes.
And seen it all. Now, I also believe they're not allowed to wear helmets, right? When you go out there today, aren't they still just in ball caps and visors? And like back in the day,
I know they can't wear pads. I thought they could wear helmets, but I'm not sure.
Are they now in phase 3 able to wear helmets?
I'll tell you later.
Will you text me? Yeah, text me.
I'll let you know.
Today.
Yeah.
Because I know this. My very first minicamp practice in helmets. I was telling some of the youngsters this yesterday at Nebraska football camp. Titus and I drove out there, and there were no helmets. And the difference between helmets and no helmets is pretty staggering when you get in those drills. You do feel intent because you're not afraid to kind of bonk heads and stick your face in there. So for some reason, I thought that the whole new CBA doesn't even allow helmets in phase 3.
Helmets in the photos on the website from last
Okay, great. Then you can. If they are wearing helmets more, then you can feel that, Salk. You do start to feel that intent that Jaron, and undoubtedly, you know what else Jaron is feeling and hearing? The O-line coach, Benton, and Rick Dennison, and the rest of the guys, and just the level of detail that we talk about, with every single step and getting after those guys and being willing to get after those guys. So it's all great. It's all talk. That's what happens in the month of June, even through these OTAs and mini camps. It will just be a lot of talk, a lot of fodder, a lot of, on this side of it or on that side of it. But that is a veteran that I do put a little bit of stock in, been around the block a time or two, and he knows this system and he knows the way it's being taught.
Very cool. All right, question number 2. We got a lot here from Sam Darnold, Brock. What'd you hear from his appearance with Rich Eisen on Friday?
Yeah, I'd like to hear cut number 12 here when old Richard asked him for the first time maybe in forever since New York, you go into camp being the number one guy. What does that mean to you, Sam?
I think for me, it's nothing really changes. That's kind of the mindset I had going into last year and years prior as well. But I think the biggest thing for me is just making sure that, I take it one day at a time. Don't get too far ahead of myself or, worry about, what would happen this year if this happens or, you get into kind of all those things. And I think for me, it really is about just taking it one day at a time and going from there.
I am so curious. I am so curious to watch over the course of this season, Salk. And it will be different now doing some coaching for me and watching a QB competition here, albeit at a high school level, but a very competitive one. Watching Titus at these camps, right? There was a kid yesterday in his grade that's got 6 offers from D1 schools, going to be a sophomore, big kid out of Hawaii. Right, kid that's got 5 offers out of the state of Indiana, pretty good kid, and they're just kind of competing and they're going after it. And you kind of just watch those things, and you watch the personality through competition. I don't think Sam Darnold for this month, for training camp, for preseason is going to overwhelm any of us with his personality. I don't think that's going to happen. But I want to be overwhelmed in September, October, and November. I want the guy that teammates want to carry in the locker room. And I think his traits are going to play out so much more in the heat of the moment in the fire than they are here where there is no fire, right? Where it is June and July and August, where the temperature in the adversity is not what it is in a regular season. And I am going to be deeply curious to just kind of watch that, right? Gino was really good. Gino was really good in front of the mic. Gino was a really tough sucker, just like Russell was. They were tough suckers, man. And we have been fortunate for decades in our market to have QBs that stand in there and deliver and play. But, Gino was not, I think, the easiest behind the scenes, and we know that Russell wasn't either. So when the fire gets cranked up, that's where I want to see Sam really, really respond. And that's where I think being the number one guy and not looking over his shoulder when adversity does come will be beneficial to him.
Pretty cool. All right, question number 3. Clock's ticking. We're getting closer and closer to the season. What other moves are still left to be made?
Yeah, I think we'll have a segment tomorrow, Salk. I don't know if you saw PFF came out with their roster rankings. They came out with their QB ranking and had Sam Darnold at 26.
Okay.
So I think tomorrow there's a deeper conversation. I'll send you the projected starter at every position with the PFF grade and why they had the Seahawks roster as the 22nd best. And it's pretty glaring in a couple spots. Obviously, right guard is glaring as they profile Anthony Bradford as the starter with his 41 PFF grade, which was higher than Laumea's and Christian Haynes. So that is still problematic. Olu's not nearly, by the way. I think he was in the teens as far as centers goes, like this 18th best center, which you can live with that. But that corner position is one that I'm surprised. We're now in phase 3 of this thing, and I'm surprised that that's not yet been fully addressed. Josh Jobe, as neat of a story as it was, he was a 51 PFF grade, right? Yeah, like you get beyond Spoon, and Woolen did some really nice things, and I think his grade somewhere in the 60s, still wildly inconsistent. But as the clock is ticking, and we're now in the kind of last couple weeks of the offseason of practice and legitimate install, I would like to see another veteran corner signed, traded for, something made at that position because the clock is ticking with training camp right around the corner.
All right, there you go. That is today's Blue 88. We'll have a little more football talk, I think around 9:30. I got kind of a potpourri at 9:30. And I asked Brady on Friday about my guy, Trey Hendrickson. So there's some good stuff there from Brady I want to play for you. And a whole bunch of other stuff then as well. So tomorrow at 9:30, we'll be talking to Mike McDonald. So kind of excited for that. You have sort of immediate thoughts on what you got to hear from McDonald tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, just big picture, obviously. Big picture and little picture. Big picture of just how much different this is for his sophomore year. To be doing this now all a second time. All of the lessons learned. How much different it is with this offensive staff, with all the level of accomplishment experience, where you're not micromanaging anything, right? And then, some of the nitty-gritty nitty-gritty details with some of these positions and this rookie class and what we have seen here and kind of how big these last couple weeks are, Salk. They don't get nearly the time that even high school programs get, college programs get. You don't get the time on the field, right? In the practice after practice after practice and rep after rep after rep. And after these couple weeks, man, when minicamp ends here in 2 weeks, then it's a month off, and here we go, man. This thing goes from 0 to 100 in an absolute hurry. Yeah. So, I think it'd be great to catch up on all those things with Mike.
All right, so we'll do that tomorrow at 9:30. I'll be out of practice today, so kind of looking forward to seeing what I see and have some takeaways for you guys tomorrow.
You just wear a white T-shirt with a number 6 marker.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that. It feels
you don't want to do any of that
feels inappropriate.
Either?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
But I am looking forward to it. And G kind of got my engines revving too, because he was like, "Man, this is a great kid. I met him and he's awesome." He had some really.
Oh, G's in now on the Seahawks.
Well, no, he had some nice things to say about having met Jalen Milroe. Let's not get carried away. G's changes day to day, so try to sort through that by myself.
She in? Have we seen
I don't
her?
see Shannon, but I hope she's in. She said she was coming in at 8, so let's assume that's going to happen, and we'll spend an hour talking baseball next on Brock and Salk.
4 down territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What's the hardest thing for coaches when it comes to OTAs?
Offensive line and defensive line evaluation. There are guys who are going to get cut after OTAs, and you really don't know what they can do. It's all about the mental. Can they pick up the box and do the right things when it comes to blocking? But OTAs, I feel bad for the O-line coach, the D-line coach. There's nothing for you there. There's a little bit, but it's not like on the outside of the perimeter.
4 down territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
I'm Rusty George. My local marketing agency specializes in helping companies in the building and manufacturing industries develop the right kind of websites and marketing strategies to attract and win more business. Visit us today at rustygeorge.com.
Ken's Pool and Patio reminds parents swimming is a healthy outlet for kids if we remember to put safety first. Make sure your children are visible at all times by a lifeguard or responsible adult. Sign them up for swimming lessons and provide a flotation device for added safety. Always check swimming conditions in advance and remind your kids to never swim alone. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Ken's Pool and Patio, your family-owned full-service pool company proudly serving you for over 50 years. Online at kenspool.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start June 11th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This just in. The NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
How dare you, Brock, impugn my guest booking ability? How dare you? Shannon Drayer, our Mariners insider, our great friend and a person just delightful to be around. Shannon Drayer has made her way in on an off day, no less, Brock, to come hang out with us.
What is she doing?
For an hour, she's here.
What is she doing?
What do you mean, what is she doing?
I mean, she knows the marathon of a baseball season. What is she doing?
She's
this
spending
is an
a little
off day,
extra
Shannon.
time with us.
You need to sleep in on an off day, Shanny. You don't need to come in and deal with this.
You're telling me now? Seriously?
Yeah, Brock,
you
where were
agreed
you?
to it. I mean, you agreed to it. You got the booker sitting right next to you. He booked this sucker.
know, it's true.
So, yeah. This
It's
is
hard
one
to
of those.
say no to, okay?
No,
Well, I
Shannon,
like
I
talking
know what
baseball
this
with
is.
Shannon. What do you want in my
Shannon,
life?
I know what this is. This was like, I would love to do that. I'd love to come in for an hour. Yeah, let's do it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden last night, you're like, why the heck did I agree to do this?
The alarm
Get up at
rings.
this time?
Yeah.
Oh.
What are we watching right now, Shannon? What are we watching with the Mariners? The ups, the downs this weekend, more ups than downs? What are we watching right now?
Ooh. We are watching a team, I think, kind of come back to what the pieces are. And a team that, it's not complete. You don't have the pitching right now, obviously. You've seen some players come back to earth, and you've seen one player who has not for 2 months, which I think tells you a lot about where that player is. And I think that this is one of those things. We had Jerry DiPoto on the road trip and just talked to him, oh, where are you right now? When you're looking at your team, where is this in the calendar? And they obviously are in the figuring out part. And a big part of that was because they were in a place where they haven't been for a long time. They brought up all the young pitching, but they hadn't brought up a position player, a prospect, a highly ranked prospect, somebody that, they have penciled in for a long time in a while. And so it was trying to figure out how do we do that. And a concern there was we've got to be able to give them the runway that they need. This isn't, somebody that, when you have one of your top prospects or, even your top 10 or even perhaps a little below that, like a Ben Williamson, you want to give them the chance to have all the ups and downs that a rookie has. And they've done that with Ben, and you're finding that he's pulling out of some of the hitting problems that he had a couple of weeks ago with a lot of work. You can't just be sending them back and forth. So it was finding the right time when that player is doing well and when you can get them on the team and keep them in that spot for a while. So that's kind of where they are. They're figuring those things out. And we're getting closer to the point where players are available. And so it's going to be important. Do we need to do something at this spot? You know, I think with a veteran, you kind of know a little bit more. So I think that they're closer to what I think we expected them to be without the pitching right now.
Shannon, I said this off the top of the show, and I don't say it lightly. When Julio's had his meteoric months, it's felt like Nelson Cruz's meteoric months, where it's like, wow, that's just different, and it's explosive, and I just can't wait for his next at bat. What Cal has done now over these 58 games for the first time, I'm going back to 90s Ken Griffey Jr. feelings, where it's like this isn't supposed to be done, where everybody in the league is looking at it, where Jason Benetti comes into town, my buddy, and all he can talk about is Cal Raleigh and Cal and Cal and Cal and Cal, just like we did about the kid and the kid and the kid in the 90s. What is Cal doing through 58 games?
Well, it's historic for his position, which, you know, stop and think about that. That's absolutely insane. And I think that he has put himself in a spot where he comes up to the plate and you feel good every single time he comes up to the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an expectation that he can handle. Yeah, I think we saw last night, there's a stat, he's got 4 go-ahead home runs, after the 7th inning right now. I think Edgar had 10 in his career.
And he has them this year?
Yeah.
He has 4 this year.
If I'm reading, I'll check it in.
No, I think that's right. It sounds right.
And I think for his career, he's already got 10, and he's just going to rocket up the Mariners list. And when you're talking Mariners list, you've got not just Hall of Famers on top of that. You've got top-tier Hall of Famers. You've got, once-in-a-lifetime player Hall of Famers there. And he's doing that right now. And for him, there's nothing to it. It's something he can take on. He loves stepping up in those situations. And for him, I think it's been a progression of everything that he has done. You look at it, and it's been 2 months, and we've always looked at him as perhaps being a little streaky offensively. He'll have that big slump. He'll have that time where he's striking out all the time. We really haven't seen that. Maybe a tiny bit with the strikeouts very early in the season, but we haven't seen that.
Do you think he's one of those guys, Brock and I were talking about it earlier, who maybe it helped him to get the contract situation squared away so that it was not hanging over his head for the future, and he could just say, all right, that part of the game is eliminated. I just get to go focus 100% on what I'm doing? Because to come out like this after signing the big deal, it's not unique. Other players have done it, but it's really cool, and it's probably more rare than anything else.
I don't want to put too much credit on that because I do think that it really comes down to where he is in his progression and where he is at continuing to develop at the major league level and balance everything that he has to balance. I think it helps that he's got a lot more experience doing that because he is still defense first. His priority first is still the defense and those pitchers. So I think that and being able to handle everything is a big part of it, and the experience, and he's smart. I think he almost gets like double exposure than any other hitter because he sees everything from the other side too, and he's smart and he knows how to, how they're going to pitch him and think like a pitcher, I think, when he steps into the box. But I do think that he is somebody that is very structured in his work, and so to have that out of the way, and I still go back to thinking that he went through an entire spring training doing that.
Right.
And that did not derail him. An entire spring training. It would be so easy. I mean, I think it would have been more likely he comes out of the gates and is lesser because he had so much going on in spring training. So I think for him, in that he structures everything to choose where he wants to be and to know that's where he's going to be. Yes, there is an element of that, but I don't want that to wipe out everything else he's done.
Yeah, we talked about the contract. We talked about the torpedo bats. So maybe we failed to mention the other side of this with Cal is, and speaking of structure and routine, is every week he's spending time with Shanny, Cal Raleigh show.
She's the keeper of the cow.
I mean, is there anything to that? And in all joking
Howdy
aside,
couldn't fix Zanino, but
No, he could
man,
not.
we got it right with Cal.
Mike and I, though, I think I could speak for Mike confidently on this one. That for 14 years, sitting down with Pete Carroll every Monday, we learned a lot about Pete. It's almost the off the record stuff, the behind the scenes stuff that you learn, that much more. I know this is just season 1 of the Cal Raleigh show. You've covered him for, the entirety of his career, though, Shannon, and you do get to spend significant time with him every single week talking to him. Have you learned anything new through that experience?
Wow. Yeah, a little bit. Just full disclaimer, I've been a Cal Raleigh fan since the day that they drafted him. I mean, I just had so much intrigue about the player that he was. Catchers have always been my favorite since I was a little kid growing up. Since I got into the game, you figured out they're the ones that you can talk to, and always said that if you don't have your pitching coach and you don't have your catcher, it's going to be a real tough year. You've got to be able to talk to those two in particular. But then, coming off, I think Zanino was the catcher then, and just seeing, how smart he was and how he grew up in the game because his dad was a scout, to know that you had another player that grew up in the game and he was big, strong, huge catcher and switch hitter, add that to it. I mean, I was really fascinated by the player that he was from the moment he hit the system. And we actually had some updates when he was in Modesto on him. I'm sure they're not remembered, but we did. He was an interesting player. And then to get him in front of us and see him struggle a little bit and work his way through that, and then finally, make the team stick and get to talk to him and see him day in, day out and how he handles his business. It was more than you could have hoped for from anybody, let alone somebody who was brought up in the game, and just how he has always juggled everything that he juggles and how he manages everything. And, I have found out that, the structure, I've known it's important. It's even more important and even more detailed, I think, than I would have thought. And then on the other side, I've also found out that he makes dumb mistakes sometimes, and I love it, just kind of personally. He forgets to pack things every now and then. And, he got stuck in his cowboy boots, his new cowboy boots. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he bought new cowboy boots on one of the road trips.
First mistake.
And couldn't get out of them because he forgot the boot horn.
You need that to get out of your boots?
Brand new boots. You have to break them in. These are real. And he needed the aid of a trainer, I think, at the hotel lobby.
Okay.
You'd never think that of him, because he is so together. And I gave him a hard time on the show about you were not prepared, Cal.
Yeah.
You go on the trip, you might be buying boots, and you didn't bring
Somebody texted this in, by the way, and we got to take a quick break, and then we'll give you everything you need to know and then spend a lot more time with Shannon here over the course of the hour. Cal's got 6 stolen bases already this year. For all of the talk about the 23 home runs, which lead baseball, it's incredible. He's got as many stolen bases as he had last year. He's only had 7 in his career before this year, and he's got 6 bags. What?
So we actually did a little video about this first or second week we started doing the show. I've kind of challenged him or asked for 10.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it last year.
10.
I kind of wanted it last year, and he started out hot and then just does. And he won't, and I think that's an indication that he's feeling pretty good right now.
Right.
Don't expect those stolen bases as the summer goes on.
I would imagine.
He is a catcher, and it's totally tongue in cheek.
Going to say this now.
But when you are that big and a catcher, to see him stealing
It's
bases.
unbelievable. I would imagine that over this past weekend with his buddy Ty France in town, there was a little conversation about those 6 stolen bases or so. Shannon's here all hour long. We'll be right back with everything you need to know next. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 and 97.3 HD2.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason, OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And Seattle Sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC this afternoon beginning at 2. Complete insider coverage at SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
Well, on this Monday morning, have you been finding yourself frustrated with your financial situation, just your standing, just getting your house in order? And maybe your insurance is a part of that. You've just assumed, right, like Molly and I did for so many years, that your insurance and your agent, your carrier are doing right by you, and you just don't really know. You've watched your premiums go up. You're frustrated with what is covered, what's not covered. Well, it's time for you to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. We heard so many First Mark Challenge victories that save people so much money. We decided to take the challenge, and boy, am I glad we did. Here's how they work for us, my parents, so many of my friends that have reached out to me. They will fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. Then, well, they go to the market. Dozens of major carriers that they've got relationship with to find you the best fit for your situation, for your family. And that's it. No stress, no confusion. They're your teammate. And they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage a complicated world of insurance. So please don't wait a morning longer. Take the First Mark Challenge, totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory I get to talk to. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. It's all right there, firstmarkinsurance.com. Your teammate that goes to work for you.
At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and save.
dayandnight.net. Save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Don't sweat it out this summer. Stay cool with Day and Night. dayandnight.net.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Roof now, pay later. No payments until 2027. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Since 1968, we've helped homeowners just like you get beautiful, durable roofs without breaking the bank. Book today and lock in summer pricing before it's too late. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community Transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. We help all types of injury victims like Sean, who was rear-ended in a car accident.
They're just easy to work with. They're fast. I like the fact that he had military service. I can see a lot of Marine in Rob. He's very in charge, really gets things done. But I didn't have to do anything. He offered me a settlement, had a number in my head, was nearly double that. I would refer absolutely anybody to Rob.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Eddie's!
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, if you like walk-offs, this weekend was for you. A brutal loss Friday, but after that, couple of walk-offs in a row for these Mariners. Saturday, it was the kid, Cole Young. We'll get to him in a few minutes. And then yesterday, Randy Arozarena's turn.
1-1 tie, bottom of the ninth inning. The stretch, the 2-1 pitch, swinging a ground ball, up the middle, base hit. The Mariners win it. Randy Arozarena jumps on first base. A walk-off single. Julio scores, and the Mariners win it 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins. Second consecutive walk-off win for the Mariners in this series.
2 in a row. Julio, a big part of both of those. Had the huge play at the plate on Saturday, and then yesterday the hit, steals second, gets the third on the throw, and is there to score the winning run. Obviously, Cal was just insane this weekend. But don't sleep on Julio. 5 for 13 with some really excellent other plays made over the course of the weekend.
You want numbers, Salk? You want some numbers?
I think I'm entitled to them.
Okay. When the Mariners hit a home run, this courtesy of the Mariners game notes, by the way, that I was perusing late last night. This is all you got to say to me, Salk. Anytime we talk of little things and big things, you can just drop the hammer on me and say it's the big things. They're 30 and 13 when they hit a home run.
Right.
Just hit a home run. You're going to, this team and anybody in this lineup is largely capable of doing so. You're 30 and 13 when you do so. One thing that in trend and tip of the cap to Scott in building this culture, Scott Service, over the last decade, one-run games, close games. This team just has a sense of belief, and that has not changed. 12-7 now in one-run games. That will serve them very well over the next 120 or so.
Yeah, they seem to come up with just some sort of different confidence when there is a home run in the game, regardless, particularly if it's middle to late. What I loved and what we saw and how it all unfolded yesterday was you weren't seeing much offense during the game. And then you saw Julio kind of take over. And he hasn't been home run Julio by any means, but he has done everything else. I love that he's not chasing anything right now. He's kind of letting the game, I think for the first time in his career, really come to him. And he came in, took it over, used his legs in that situation. And I'm also happy that we're seeing them run a little bit more over this last series. They really kind of shut that down. We're seeing the game in motion.
They do play better when they run well as well.
Yep.
Full day off here at home, and then the homestand continues tomorrow. Baltimore in for 3. Very disappointing team this year, probably the biggest disappointment in baseball. So a good opportunity to hopefully put another series win on the board, but also to do a little scouting for what might be available here in the next month or two before the deadline.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Timing was a little odd, but Cole Young ends up getting pulled from his game in Tacoma on Friday, was in Seattle for his debut Saturday, and it was about as good as it gets, as he is a walk-off winner. All right, it wasn't quite like a walk-off home run, but it was still kind of awesome.
The pitch. Swinging a ground ball, bouncing softly to the first base, throw home, not in time! It's a walk-off for the Mariners! Cole Young in his Major League debut is showered with seeds and gum and the water bucket in shallow right field.
Pretty good day for Mr. Young as he gets the game-winning RBI to go with a hit earlier. He looked comfortable. I think that was my biggest takeaway. He just kind of looked comfortable. He looked like he belonged.
So you'll get frustrated with me today. Presumably, you'll text me when you're out at minicamp, like, why do I look at guys' ankles? Why do you have me looking at their calves?
I don't do that.
No, I've worn off on you in that way.
Not
the
that
same
much.
way you've worn off on me, where now I got to look at the bottom of every leaderboard in a golf tournament. I never used to do that, and now I do. And I pity those fools that just have atrocious weekends and are
This guy's
cut.
plus 14.
Or withdraw before they even get to the weekend. Speaking of watching a little thing, did you watch Cole on that play? is that ball just dribbled down the first baseline. He didn't just duck out of the way. He stayed right in that baseline, maybe even got and made it a little more difficult for that first baseman who tried to barehand it and get it home. No moment was too big. Even that moment, as he found a way to deliver. Shannon, who is his personality? You gotten a sense and a feel through spring training, and I know it was only a weekend.
Yeah.
Any sense or feel for who Cole Young is?
Really unfair there. It's going to take more time, but what I've seen in the last couple of spring trainings is pretty chill. Yeah, pretty chill. But he absolutely knows what he's doing out there. And what really kind of blew me away was you heard kind of the awe in his voice after the game and the emotion in it. He was pretty much the same the next day when I talked to him about it.
Was he crying? It sounded like, I didn't see it. I only heard it.
Unreal. I can't even describe it. The past 24 hours.
All right, if you don't see it and you just hear it, it kind of sounds that way.
That or just in awe of everything that happened. Let's think about it. You are playing in a AAA game. Your manager takes you out. What have I done? What's wrong? And then tells you on the bench there. He said that took forever just to set in.
We're going to play that a little bit later. It's pretty cool sound. Bryce Miller returns this weekend as well, which is great. And then also, small move, as the Joel Sherman reported earlier, they're acquiring lefty reliever Joe Jakes from the Dodgers.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Real quick here, OTAs start again today, and these ones are open to the public, or to the media, rather. So I'm going to be out there. I feel like more just a member of the public.
It's an off day. Should I go?
You're welcome to, if you'd like. Shannon, we'll get you over there. It's going to be fun.
You telling me you're not looking at shoulders and delts and calves? You're out.
I'll tell you who I'm going to be looking at, Brock. Obviously, the quarterbacks. Yes, the offensive line. I want to get eyes on Nick Eamon-Worry. I kind of like to see what that guy looks like in his number 3 jersey.
Athlete.
Exactly. Athlete.
Yeah, just
and really the biggest addition they've kind of made, right, to the defense. I guess both him and DeMarcus Lawrence, 2 guys that I would like to see today. That's everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Mariners have 3 more at home here, starting tomorrow with the Orioles. Fans, Bark in the Park night, Pride Month, Mariners value games as well. You can purchase tickets for this whole homestand at mariners.com/tickets. Weather's going to be beautiful. Great chance to get out there. Shannon is going to be there, and she's here for the rest of the hour as well. Want to talk pitching rotation? 7 guys for 5 spots. Want to talk deadline with Shannon? Want to talk Jorge Polanco and what's going on there? 1 for 31 and his knee and his health and his oblique or whatever the heck is going on with Jorge Polanco. Want to talk Harry Ford's future? We got a lot to do in just a half hour to do it. Stick around. It's next on Brock and Salk.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient shine.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien.
Hey, Mike Salk here. Riverside Roofing is going to try to give you $1,000. You want $1,000? Because they'd like to give it to you. $1,000 off a new roof replacement, which is a great incentive to book that right now. It's a good time to do it. Days are super long. The weather is beautiful. Take advantage now before that demand really starts to spike later this summer. And here's all you got to do. To claim $1,000 off from Riverside Roofing is book a free estimate from their website, riversideroofingllc.com. When you meet with Brandon, that's Don's son, tell him you heard the message here on the radio station. You'll get $1,000 in your pocket and a brand new roof over your head. Great deal. Be sure to ask Brandon about the 35 years of local experience being GAF Master Elite certified. Ask about the catch-all system, which keeps your yard and your driveway totally free of debris like nails and shingles. It's all at riversideroofingllc.com, the roofing company you can trust.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory is a little different. We actually reach out to the small business world, to Joel Taylor and Sean O'Donnell from Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants. Sean, when Joel brought this to you, the idea of why don't we take this First Mark Challenge victory, what was your thought?
My goal was to save some money and to simplify our operations. We've got 6 locations now, and along with that comes complications. And when things get complicated, things that are important get forgotten. First Mark was able to simplify that and also save us money.
Not only have they saved us money, they helped us identify some blind spots in our policies. Their service team has been phenomenal, unparalleled in my experience, given us a lot more solutions with better coverage, and just made too much sense.
First Mark's just made it easy for us.
So if you're a business owner and your insurance is in need of simplifying and streamlining and eliminate the stress, do what Sean O'Donnell's Restaurants did. Reach out to First Mark Insurance. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com. First Mark Insurance, your teammate in the business world too. Going to work for you.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parango and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Got a nice text here from Rye in Spokane. Says, hi, Shannon. You're the best. That's true. I totally agree with that. Rye, you and I are on the same page on this one.
Thank you, Rye.
Shannon is the best. So let's not waste any of her time.
I could see Shanny being big in Spokane, by the way.
Yeah.
Got relatives there.
Uh-huh. Like when I think of a Shannon Drayer market, I think of Spokane.
Do you really?
I do, kind of, yeah. Uh-huh. In the outskirts, you get out to Medical Lake, Salk. I don't know how much time, Cheney, how much time you've spent over
where
there.
all my
but
relatives
enough.
are, yeah.
Yeah, not enough time,
Exactly.
I would say.
There you go.
All right. Well, we got a half hour left with Shannon. I don't want to waste any of it. I got about a million things that I want to make sure we talk about. So let's see if we can buzz through a few of these. Because these are kind of questions, debates we've had on the show over the last week or two, and kind of want to get your take on all of them. Let's start with the rotation. You got 5 spots. They're not going to go to a 6-man rotation, which I think is just fine. I would not either.
Oh, I'm on the other side of the fence.
Oh, really? You like the 6-man?
Yes, not for the entire time, but absolutely. I think that would help them for a while.
Really?
I've thought it for 3 years, and they're militantly against it, and I do not agree.
I just think you're hurting yourself in the bullpen. I just think it's a really tough spot for them to be in.
How often do they not use that last guy, and you can always go get him? They came out of Houston. Gabe Spire didn't pitch for a week, literally 7 days. Munoz didn't pitch for 6 days. I mean, you've got plenty of arms down in that bullpen. And if it doesn't work, then you can always make
So
that
you
move.
would go to 6 when, either now or when Logan comes back?
Yes, for a short time, especially with Bryce being where he's at. What happens when they do 6, Mike, and they do this when they, obviously when they're on rehab, they have them on that schedule, but the starters get an extra work day. And with this group in particular, I think they get a lot out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're looking at what you'll have at the end of the season, too, because you give them that little extra rest. Now, you're going to have that anyway because 3 of your starters have spent significant time on the IL. But I think getting them back into it, particularly if they're trying to work through some things, I think it absolutely would help. And you have the guys to do it.
All right. So let me then ask you the next part of this, which is you've got 7 guys you like. It is starting to feel like they can grow pitchers in the lab, and by the time they get up here to the big leagues, they're tremendous in terms of their success as starting pitchers. Does it change at all the future contract negotiations or outlook for guys like Logan or Kirby or maybe even eventually one day Bryce and Brian?
I don't think so because those guys, they are the top of the top, and it still took them a few years. It took Logan a few years to fully become Logan. He did a lot of good things along the way, and I don't think that is discounted with them. They are pitching-based. They are their own pitching-based. And I think, do they feel better if they aren't able to get deals done with the guys that they want to? Probably, but they're not ready to put it all on Logan Evans and Emerson Hancock. And, you got to point to also there is they have focused on offense in the draft over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Evans, where he's at, I would say it's not a surprise in the last year. It's a surprise in the last 2 years. When you drafted him, you didn't think he would get here very quickly. You were very intrigued by what he had, the number of pitches, the stuff, the way he uses things differently. Then you got him in and you found out his makeup and whatnot. So you've learned a lot about him in a short amount of time. But you shouldn't have had that type of pitcher with their draft priorities for a little while to come. And Emerson Hancock has been a long work in progress. And a lot of credit to him what he's done.
Bryce Miller's start Saturday was?
To be expected. Yeah, he's a different one because he's coming off an IL that he wasn't on very long. His routine did not change very much. He was only down for a few days. So, you know what? Maybe I look at it and say that, yeah, there were some encouraging things on that, and he's still kind of processing through what we saw with him when he went out.
He seemed to feel pretty encouraged. I mean, we were watching it, and it looked like the fastball started to dip in velocity a few innings in.
Not thinking about it. It was 91 miles
Okay,
an
so
hour.
it did. This is what Bryce said afterwards.
Yeah, it's not fun pitching through stuff, and yeah, especially when I went out in the first inning and was letting it rip and everything felt really good. That's super encouraging. It's felt really good the last really week and a half. So yeah, that's encouraging. And I think moving forward, I just have to make sure I keep body and the arm and the elbow warm, especially on a cool night. And whoever set the fire alarm off, that wasn't ideal for me, but we got through the fourth, and yeah.
Freaking Benetti.
Is he's saying he's encouraged to feel 100%.
A month from now, are we going to be talking about his bone spur, or is this going to be a non-story?
I don't know. I mean, does it pop up? Is it really not an issue right now? Did the cortisone shot take care of the inflammation there? We don't know. I mean, that's something that until it's not in there anymore, I would imagine it can pop up at any time. But I think that's when you do have to listen to the player and how he's feeling. And that's very different from what he said before he took the break, got the shot, and found out what it was.
Yeah, it's gonna be a curious story because this also then involves, I'm sure, an agent and his team and the people around him, Salk, and like, okay, how much of this can I do and can I weather versus what is in the best interest of Bryce Miller's career and long-term career? You know, would it be better to get that bone spur out of that elbow? You know, like if this trends this way, and I think I'm with Lyle here. I don't think this is a 2-month deal. I don't think he's going to get 6-7 starts. I think this is the next 2, 3, 4 starts for him individually to just say, yeah, you know what, let's do this thing. You know,
he's got to be effective. We got to see an effective Bryce Miller, and then you say, all right, he's capable of doing it. Okay, what does it look like managing it the rest of the way? But if you go 2, 3 more starts where he's ineffective and the fastball is in the low 90s, yeah, I mean, don't you think that has to change the conversation, especially given that you've got 2 other guys that have pitched really well after coming up?
Of course. I mean, it's, you know, this rotation, when they are all healthy, and you look around baseball right now and you see, you know, the Skubals and the Hunter Browns and players like that, and you look at the Mariners rotation and you're like, we don't have one of those right now. And I would question if you really have one, period. And its effectiveness, they are all very, very good pitchers. They all, at their best, could be an ace on any team. Maybe Brian Wu is kind of that one that's just a little bit different. Logan Gilbert, absolutely, when he is on and what he's turned himself in, can be that guy. And I can't wait to, you know, get his season restarted and going there. But their strength is as a rotation. That is their superpower, that it is 1 through 5. And that when you're going into a New York or you're going into a Houston, that every night you're throwing one of those guys at them.
It's sort of a Voltron-like situation. Like their strength really comes when they're all together and you get one after another.
And
I think you're right.
It also benefits the bullpen, too, obviously.
No, I think you're right about all that.
I think that, you know, early on, I think that you can have that you know, pitcher that's trying to figure it out right now. And Bryce is somebody who, you know, you've got to take the mental component in with it, too, because he breaks things down to a degree that you just don't see. But I think he's going to let you know if it is too much.
What's going on with Jorge Polanco, Shannon? 1 for his last 31 after the torrid start to the season. He looked like he was going to get back out in the field. He looked like he was going to start taking at bats against lefties. And then he's back at DH, and he's bunting the only time he comes up against a lefty. What's going on with Jorge Polanco? Because Dan and Justin and everyone have said he's fine. It's not a health issue, but that doesn't seem believable.
Yeah, I don't know. In his career, in his history, it's always been a health issue. And it might not be a flat-out injury. If it was a flat-out injury, then he would be out. It's a nagging this or a nagging that. And we know that, you know, he was able to hit with the oblique because I think he was pretty much 100% on the other side. And there's something else that's bothering him now.
Beyond the oblique.
Yes.
Okay. So it's got, and I think the assumption then is it, or the question, maybe it's not an assumption, but the question is it the knee? And I don't know whether I'm asking you that question, but we're asking in general, right, sort of rhetorically, is it the same knee that was the problem all of last year that seemed like it was going to be fixed coming into this season?
Yeah, we don't get answers on that. But I can tell you that, you know, I have seen indications that there is something that's going on lower body.
Yeah, and then that's a delicate situation, right? I mean, because of all of last season and because of waiting through the offseason and because of the torrid start.
I got to tell you that. No, it's not delicate.
Organization
no, it's not delicate. I'm going to disagree with you, Brock. And I'm going to just say, if we saw last year, Jorge Polanco can't play through the nagging injury. He can go out there every day, but he's not an effective player trying to play through a nagging injury. To me, this is very clear. If Jorge Polanco has a nagging lower body injury that's in any way bothering him the way last year's was, get the surgery, do whatever you need to do immediately and get out of there and get healthy. Because we saw what a healthy Jorge Polanco looks like. He's nasty. He's awesome. He's one of the better hitters we've seen. But if he can't do that, and he showed last year he can't, I don't want to see a nagging injury with Jorge Polanco. I want to see healthy Jorge Polanco or no Jorge Polanco.
And it might not even be a surgery situation.
Fair.
It's just, something.
But couldn't it be a 10-day IL situation? And you would think, I thought that was going to be the move on Friday or Saturday for Cole Young. I was shocked when it was Leo Rivas instead of an IL stint for Polanco at that point, because I thought that's where this thing was going.
Well, you look at, it's been an entire month right now. For the month of May, Polanco is, second from last, WRC plus, OPS. He clearly is struggling right now. And it does seem that it is. And again, in his history, it's always been because there's been something nagging. I think you have the opportunity right now. Maybe they're waiting for Luke Raley to come back. Maybe they feel they can't do that. Maybe they feel, I know Harry Ford is hitting up a storm in AAA, but maybe they don't want to do that because of the runway thing, and you might have to switch him out in 10 days, and they don't want to do that. But I do think you're to a point where how long can you let that go on?
Well, Salk, I say delicate for the player as well, because put yourself in Jorge's shoes at this stage of his career. Right, where obviously the market was really soft.
But this isn't helping him either.
Coming off of an injury-riddled season, and you don't want to be injured yet again and go into and try, on a one-year deal to try to kind of prove it. And all of a sudden, once again, you got a knee, and once again, you're injured. So to not say it's delicate on his side, I think is missed.
Well, he's just shown what he can do, and and even if it's a situation where it's nothing, and it could be, even if it is that. Don't you say, hey, you know what, you got to take a few days and work something out. Texas is doing that with Adolis Garcia right now. He's been out of the lineup for 4 days because he's had a miserable start, and let's go rework something. Let's figure something out here. Yeah. It can't be fun to be going to the plate right now.
You mentioned Harry Ford, and he leads to a really good debate or a good conversation. So Harry Ford has been tearing up AAA, obviously. He's a catcher by trade, and according to him, that's what he would like to keep doing. Here's a little bit from Harry Ford.
If a team wants me somewhere, I'm going to do my best to learn that spot, but I'm a catcher at heart. Like, catching is what I love to do. And I'm always going to fight to stay as a catcher, but I'm also always ready to help the team.
By the way, great answer from a kid. I mean, that's exactly what you would want to hear, but kind of a weird spot. We get a lot of text messages that say, bring up Harry Ford, have him catch twice a week because Cal's on an unsustainable pace of catching, and, just get rid of Mitch Garver and everything should be fine. And I'm struggling with that one because it feels a little unfair to ask a kid to come up to the big leagues for the first time and play only a couple of times a week and not get a lot of at-bats. That's not really the best thing usually for their development. How do you handle the future of Harry Ford? And is there a future for Harry Ford here in Seattle in a world where Cal Raleigh is one of the best players in baseball?
Yeah, there is. Cal Raleigh's not going to play every game behind the plate for his entire career. And, I think that there is an appreciation for what Harry does behind the plate and the kind of athlete he is. I think that he could, play behind the plate for a couple of days, perhaps play out in the outfield for a day or two, DH here and there too. And as he develops, I think the challenge will be is that if he were to stay with the Mariners, and I think they're open to it, I think they do see, someday Cal can't do that every day. And I don't think we're talking 5 years down the line. I think, ideally, you'd like to at least get him to the 1 day a week, which he isn't even doing right now. By the second half of the season, I hope he is. I think that Harry, as he's coming up, the challenge will be, can you continue to hit the way that you are hitting, which, by the way, is kind of exactly what they want. They don't need him to be the home run guy. He is on base. He is, and via the hit, not necessarily the walk, although he can walk. Can he continue? Can the bat continue if he's not playing every day?
How is he as a catcher? Is he competent?
He's improving. Let's remember that he was high school. This is a very different situation than Cal, and I have heard of improvement every year. Is he elite? No. Does he have the experience that Cal has? Obviously not. But he did a good job. I heard that they did, and I heard from some pitchers that they were comfortable with him catching in spring training, that he did some nice things.
How much more time, Shannon, do you think the Tellez, the Solanos, the Garvers, How much more time do you think they have, and how many more at-bats do you think they have before maybe some decisions have to be made on them from either within or folks coming in from the outside?
Well, I think, you don't have replacements right now. You're probably still a month away from it. So I do think that there is time, but you do look at it, and in right field, you're among the bottom in production from right field this year. First base, not much better. So those are the areas, and there will be players available at both. So I think that, and again, you're going to want a very functional bench too if you are going to do what you want to do.
I do like their bench a little bit better today than I did a week ago. I do like. I mean, the one thing about bringing up Cole Young and saying that he's going to play, I think, most days at second base, is it really puts Dylan Moore and Miles Mastroboni back into the roles they're supposed to be in, instead of the ones they were starting to fill, which was, I think, starting to be exposed over the course of the last couple of weeks. Like, Dylan Moore's a really good player, especially good if you use him in the spots that cater to his talents. Same with Mastroboni. Seeing him pinch hit late in games is probably not ideal, but seeing him pinch run and score the winning run on Saturday is much more who he is, and defensive replacement and the versatility. I really love a lot of that. So I kind of like where their bench is going, but you have names in mind as you start thinking about 2 months from now, and the Orioles are going to be in town this next 3 days.
Ryan O'Hearn,
right, and he's not the only one. Mountcastle's not playing.
He's probably going to be one of the best, or one of the top if available.
I would think so.
One of the tough ones to get.
I've thrown out a few names of guys that intrigue me. O'Hearn obviously is on there. Mountcastle would be on there. He's not. He's hurt, so we won't see him this weekend. He's having a miserable year, but I think he's a good player. We've talked about if the Brewers fall out, maybe Rhys Hoskins, who I know the Mariners like a lot.
How about Gino Suarez?
Well, that would be interesting. I mean, certainly the Diamondbacks are teetering, and everybody loves Gino. He's had his ups and downs. Who was I thinking about with the Pirates? Who were we talking about the other day who's a Pirate that I thought might
Kiner
be?
Falefa?
Yeah, Isaiah Kiner Falefa.
I wanted him in the offseason.
I like him. I think he'd be a
they
great
weren't
addition.
giving him up because they made him as the everyday shortstop.
Any names start to ring out to you?
Well, you just listed a bunch of them right there. And I'm also looking in the bullpen. You need another leverage arm in the bullpen. I think you covered everybody that I was looking at.
There aren't that many. That's what's sort of weird.
What about Tampa? I mean, Tampa's hanging in there right now. Is this when you see Yandy Diaz?
Yeah.
Lau is not having a good year this year, so I'm not so sure about Lau is not having a good year, so I'm not sure about that as much. But you keep an eye on Tampa. You keep an eye on Toronto. It's still very, very early, but I'm starting to feel better. My concern was that there were going to be so many teams that felt like they were in it, and especially in the American League, because everything is so down. Now, I think there are going to be teams beyond the ones like the Rockies. There's nothing there. I'm not interested in Luis Robert Jr. in Chicago. There's nothing there, but I do think, and I don't know if Baltimore, they've been so stubborn. I don't know if that's going to happen, but they got to look at what happened this year. And, that wasn't your manager. I'm sorry. There are other things going on.
If you're interested in some entertainment, I recommend following Jason LaConfora on Twitter. You get the occasional football take because, he's covered the NFL forever. But mostly what you get are just absolutely furiously angry Orioles tweets, which are... I mean, considering where they were just a couple of years ago, I mean, they're talking about, they can't even believe Adley Rutschman's in the lineup. They're so mad about what he's doing. It's like, this guy was supposed to be like much better than Cal just like a year or two ago.
Well, everybody believed that. He's still, on the list. They'll still sneak him above Cal sometimes.
Sheesh. Well, I don't think after this month that's going to be too possible anymore. But wow, I mean, I am fascinated to watch them come in here, Brock, in the next few days.
They just swept the White Sox. So, I mean, they did just at least do that. So you're not getting them losers of 12 of the last 15 or 15 of the last 20 of the stretches they were on. Shannon, last thing for me is we had you in here the entire hour. And thank you on your off day for being so kind to come in and start your day and kick off your day with us. 104 games to go, 58 games now into this season. That's not a tiny sample size. We chatted with you, I remember, down there in late February as you got your first eyes, your first week on these Mariners down there with Dan and kind of the new regime and the new voice and everything else. I guess 58 games into this season, maybe your most pleasant surprise. And then equally over the next month and a half before some of these acquisitions and transactions, what your eyes will really be watching.
Polanco for the first month was my biggest surprise and most pleasant surprise, and I hope they can get him right and find some semblance of that. I thought that was just fantastic. Cal Raleigh obviously had big hopes for him. I didn't know he was going to take over baseball, and I'm getting a real chuckle over how. Remember how it was Ty? He can really hit France. And now it's Cal, best catcher in baseball. It's like part of his name now, and you're hearing it outside of Seattle too, which is so much fun. So that obviously has been very huge. The resilience that they have shown, you cannot tell me that this team would take the hits. And it's not just the pitching. You lost Victor Robles. He was supposed to be a huge part of this. You lost Polanco in the field. You never had Polanco in the field, and that's why you lost Luke Raley. You were talking about Dylan Moore and Mastroboni having to play out of. That's why, and so the fact that they were able to scramble and on the fly put together the first month that they did and survive the second, you knew it was going to fall back to earth a little bit. I think you've learned a lot about this group, and there's a ton of confidence in it. And I am so intrigued right now by where Julio Rodriguez is. I think that he is following a process and a path, and I like what I see from him, not only in what he's doing at the plate, not only what I like from what he's doing out in the field, but he just seems to be kind of calmer than he's ever been.
All right, so let me ask you about that. We could probably spend another hour talking about Julio. We only have another couple of minutes, maybe two, but I'm with you. I've really enjoyed Julio this year, and sometimes Brock and I have kind of gotten into it a little bit. I love all the other things other than the hitting he's doing and the defense and the base running. You saw it this weekend. What you just said, do you think he might feel like he's calmer and in a more comfortable place because Cal is doing everything he's doing to make Julio not have to be the star that carries the lineup?
Maybe. I mean, I think that could be very valid, and I don't think that he absolutely had to be, but he put that on him from day one.
And there's no right answer. This is guesswork.
Yeah. I think that he's matured a little bit in the game and realizes that it isn't as easy as it always was for him, and that you do have to have a patience with it. I feel like I messed up a walk-off interview a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him about his patience at the plate. And he's like, well, I'm a very aggressive hitter. And I'm like, I know that. What I meant was, and what it didn't come out on the fly, was he's patient in sticking with his approach. He is patient in taking the base hit. He is patient in, okay, I can go the other way. He's patient in, and then I just landed on, he's not chasing anything offensively right now. And I really think he's letting the game come to him. And I think that is something that he probably had to get experience and feel and time in the game. And I think it's starting to add up. And I do feel like this should end in hopefully something spectacular in the second half or sooner.
I'll say this. He is right now on pace for the best WAR season of his career, at least according to Baseball Reference, which is crazy. We're a third of the way through the year. He's at 2.2. He triples that. He's going to be at 6.6, which would be the best of his career, despite having the lowest OPS figure of his career. That's how much he's doing outside of that with the base running, with the defense. And, if he gets on one of those hot streaks, everything can kind of come together. All right, we'll see. Shannon, thank you. I'm with Brock. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in on the off day. It's great to have you in here for an hour and just talk baseball and do a little round table with you. We appreciate it. And you'll be at the park, of course, the rest of the week.
You got it. I will be.
All right, there you go. There goes Shannon. We'll come right back. We got a little football to talk as Brock is back to explain the 12 things he's looking for in OTAs. We're on to, more we'll tell you next on Brock and Salk.
It's the next phase of the Seahawks offseason, OTAs.
Jansen, he's going 40.
And 30. Seattle sports is all over it.
The Seahawks, they're into it now.
The one thing about Mike McDonald is he knows exactly what he wants to do.
Wyman and Bob are live from the VMAC this afternoon beginning at 2. Complete insider coverage at SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports YouTube channel, and the Seattle Sports app. We are the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports.
You're losing your hair, and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Polanco and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible post-game show on Friday, June 13th, presented by T-Mobile, after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again. Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets today.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
If you've been in a wreck or a fender bender,
you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Matt Marcus. Sorry about just Mike. Heward
Not exactly Joe Cat there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Eward and Mike Salk.
All right, it was great to have Shannon in. She's the best, and we just spent another 5 minutes talking. Sorry about that if I'm not as prepared as normal, because I love just chatting with Shannon, who's just one of my favorites, and actually really the first member of the Seattle media I ever met, because she would come to Boston when I was covering the Red Sox.
Let's be fair. She's nice to you. She's one of the few that's just been for 15
She's always
years
been
consistently nice to you.
Well, I used to have Shannon on when I was in Boston. I used to have her come on and just talk baseball, because I just always loved chatting with her. And when I moved here, she was a friendly face, and I always have loved Shannon. She knows the game, and it's just great to have her in talking baseball for an hour like that. We're going to shift gears for a few minutes, and then we get some potpourri at 9:30, Brock, before tomorrow. We chat with Mike McDonald, who's going to join us at 9:30 tomorrow. But OTAs going on. First opportunity for the media to get a view today, other than John Boyle, who's just kind of unique access here over the last week or so. But I'm going to head over today, along with, I'm sure, a ton of other media members. And Brock, you've been counting down here the 12 things to look for in OTAs. Today, we must be on to
number 9.
There it is.
Nine. You do me a favor today, Salky? I know your eyes are going to be all over number 6.
Yeah.
And number 14 and the QBs and all that good stuff. You'll take a gander, I'm sure. Go listen to the new O-line coach. Just go down there, make sure you find a time to mosey on down there and listen to that crew and get your eyes on Richmond and Cable Dew and Gray Zabel and all the new massive humanity that's there. But make sure, please. And I know you will, because you've called him the most polarizing pick in this draft class. The most intriguing in some ways outside of Jalen and Eman Wari, and that would be Arroyo, the tight end. Make sure you get down for me.
All right, I'll make sure to see Arroyo
on the tight end group.
Okay.
You will, like Brady Henderson, you'll be blown away by Nick Callerup. I'm just telling you that right now. He's kind of like Euclid, but 270 pounds.
Okay.
Kevin, he kind of reminds me of Kevin Euclid. I don't know why. That's a bizarre rando 90s, 2000 aughts Boston Red Sox player, but he just kind of got that like old man massive vibe to him, and feisty and huge and kind of a morph between a tackle and a tight end. And they paid him some money. They gave him a couple $100,000 in guaranteed money, because I think they want him to really be an unbelievable blocker. And that's not Arroyo, that's not Fant. AJ Barner is willing, and he's capable, and he did a good job last year. But the blocking dude is going to be that massive rookie, undrafted out of Minnesota. But then, yeah, those names that you rattle off right there, how good can this crew be? Can this tight end group be great? Not good. Last year they were good. The year before that they were good. They've had some good tight end rooms, Salk. But in this scheme in particular, if you want to make this thing hum, if you want this tune to really go, have a couple tight ends that are just monsters to deal with. Get in 12 personnel, keep base on the field because you're willing and able and capable of running it. And then here comes all of the play action and the movements and the nakeds that these linebackers just can't keep up with, and can't run with Arroyo and can't run with Fant. And even AJ Barner, watching some of his highlights, and you know the big fan I was of his work last year. I'm just this is one of those groupings. If there's a grouping that can take a big step from good to great, I think this tight end room's got a lot of intrigue and a lot of clay to mold right there.
Okay.
You remember, were we able to find that Kay Adams, Elijah Arroyo on with Kay Adams? What was that, up with Kay last week, 2 weeks ago? And do this for me too. See where he's lining up. Here was Arroyo talking about, this offense and where he fits.
Yeah, he's been telling me, he's going to challenge me. He wants to line me up everywhere. He wants me to be able to do everything. So he's just going to push me and challenge me mentally. And I got to be ready for it.
Really hard to gauge. Even like Mike Mayock, if he was out there with you, would have a hard time gauging how fast guys are truly playing, right? At this speed, at this tempo, OTAs. But Nick Eman Wari, Arroyo, Zabel, guys you're counting on. How quickly are they? Do you see it? I mean, do you see them? Lined up in the wrong spot. Oh, I got to, before the snap, run over to the. Yeah. Or are they just kind of seamless in it? And you don't really notice. Keep an eye out for that. And one last little thing too. Well, actually, tomorrow I'm going to talk a little more deeply on this, previewing the entire rookie class and all of their fits with these guys. I think you may have to revisit your thought of never counting on a rookie again.
Counting on, Brock. Not saying that they can't do things.
Devin Witherspoon was at his best his rookie year. You could argue Abe Lucas was at his best his rookie year. Reek Woolen, you could argue, was at his best his rookie year. I think we may, and I know that's maybe those are outliers, and you could rattle off 2, 3, 4 other names. But I don't know, man. I think that adage of not counting on them.
Yeah, don't count on them.
I think that's a thing of the past.
I don't care. You're not going to change my mind on that one, man.
Count on them.
Count on them? No. Hope that they're going to come in and blow you away? Absolutely. Feel like there's a role for them? Yes. Count on them?
Well, if they're going to win the NFC West, you're going to count on them.
Well, unfortunately, that to me is a dangerous proposition. All right, I'll get eyes on the tight ends today, Brock. I promise I will do that for you. And every day at 9 o'clock, we are counting down the things to look for at OTAs, 12 of them. That was, as Maura said, number 9. And she said it beautifully, I would say.
She did.
Yeah.
She's really good at
Said
that.
it really well. Said it about as well as you're gonna.
She's really good at, like, a minute before the segment. I was like, oh, can you find? Oh, I got it. I got it right on the cursor. The sound hound, like, she just sniffs that stuff out. Like, you just throw whatever you want at her. She's.
I mean, or just type in Arroyo into the search bar and it's all organized.
Stop it. Don't diminish your talents.
Yeah, seriously, Maura.
Okay?
You're getting a compliment.
I mean, I
over
made
here.
the cut, so I guess I can give myself credit for that.
Exactly.
But it's not hard to search it.
And the way those fingers can type on that keyboard too, it is phenomenal.
Hey, speaking of hounds, do you know what I'm doing next weekend, Brock, on Sunday?
This next week, upcoming weekend?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah, I want to go to this.
I don't know.
I'm going to be at Emerald Downs for the first time. I've never gone to Emerald Downs, but I'm going to be at Emerald Downs for the French Bulldog races. And Gertie's running. She's been training hard. She's been Oh, yeah. She's been working at it, and the whole family is going out so that Gertie can participate, little Gertrude, in the Bulldog races. They have both English Bulldog and French Bulldogs, but they're kept separate for the races.
Sure.
And Gertie's going to be out there. She was invited by her friend Frank, who's another Frenchie, who ran in this last year, and Frank's family said it was a lot of fun.
Is this like an all-species race day?
No,
Like-
just Bulldogs.
What?
It's just Bulldogs. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's just Bulldogs.
They've done
like the
corgi
Greyhounds
races
out
there
there,
before.
Yeah, it's
Corgi
not.
races,
It's not Greyhounds. It may not go quite as rapidly as
Okay.
the Greyhound races, and I don't know whether they have like a rabbit that runs like in the Greyhound races, because I think some of the Frenchies might run away from the rabbit rather than trying to chase it. But yeah, no. First Bulldogs and Frenchies are going to be at the races on Sunday, and so the whole Salk family is going out to support Gertrude. So we could talk through it throughout
Is there
the week.
betting on this at Emerald Downs? Can you bet?
That's a great question. I don't know whether I personally would throw any money down on Gertie. But if they have like an oversized stuffed carrot or something waiting for her at the finish line, she'll run pretty quick. So we'll see what she looks like. Yeah, it's going to be a big week. Some real potpourri coming up here in 20 minutes after everything you need to know next. The Mariners made a little deal, and we'll see. Talk a little bit about who they've acquired next on Brock and Salk.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
He's just eating right now.
Okay.
Cal Raleigh.
I like that.
How about that?
He's in the zone right now, and he's doing it from both sides of the plate, which is the most impressive thing. And he's played every single day, even on his day off.
You do think, like, are you going to get days off? I mean, you're hanging on to Garber to give Cal days off.
Right.
That's the one fear I have with Cal's season so far is like, hey, let's get this guy some time.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
When the heat's an 11,
Cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net. Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long, hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and safe.
Dayandnight.net. Make sure your AC will keep you cool this summer. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. Or for a new system, save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment.
Dayandnight.net.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed, and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Swing and a miss. Strike three. That is strikeout number 7 for Brian Wu.
Home. Home is where you get to cook things up just the way you like.
Swing and a miss.
Where you're never afraid to get in the kitchen.
Hey, got him. A huge strikeout from Logan Gilbert. It's 7th tonight.
Where you serve, carve, put some extra mustard on it.
There's the fist pump by Luis Castillo. Strikeout number 10 on the night.
And get a little spicy.
Set a heater at 100. Back-to-back strikeouts for Andres Munoz.
Now you're cooking with gas. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
The Mariners homestand continues this week with 3 straight value games against the Orioles. Score seats for as little as $11 to all 3 games. Tomorrow and Wednesday night at 6:40 and Thursday afternoon at 12:40. Go to mariners.com/value games to grab your tickets and check out the complete schedule. Introducing frequent flights between Boeing Field and a private terminal at Portland Airport. Seaport Airlines is transforming travel with convenience, comfort, and free parking just steps from your plane. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Big Trees has certified arborists and site experts who help you select the right trees for the right location on your property. When Big Trees installs a tree, we offer a 1-year warranty and 1 free aftercare visit from a board-certified master arborist. To learn more about our process, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Summertime is Pacific Power Batteries time. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. But we do sell more batteries in the spring and summer because you folks are all out there doing stuff. Golf carting and boating and buzzing around on stuff that needs batteries. When's a good time? How about tomorrow? We're open 7 days a week to test any battery and let you know the honest answer. Summertime and the cranking is easy. Happy trails from Pacific Power Batteries.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Couple of walk-off wins for the Mariners this weekend, and a much-needed series win for them to stop the bleeding after Houston and Washington. Things didn't look great on Friday after a game they probably should have won, got away from them late. But then Saturday, they win a game they probably shouldn't have, and instead get the walk-off victory. I thought this Julio throw was the play of that game.
Here it comes. Swinging, he golfs it into shallow center field. It drops in for a base hit. Walner hits third, being waved in. Julio's throw is on its way. Play at the plate. Tag applied. Got him at home.
That eventually led to a walk-off, little fielder's choice squibber from Cole Young, who was making his debut that day. I'm sure that it's an unbelievable moment for him and his family, and afterwards he seemed just, super emotional about it. It was just a great game, and I don't know whether that game leads to the game the next day. It probably doesn't. Momentum's your next day starting pitcher, and you got Luis Castillo, and they got Chris Paddock, and both of them were pretty nasty, but eventually Cal got the home run. Julio was able to get on base in the ninth after Munoz blew a second, and he comes around to score on Randy Arozarena's hit. So, yeah, those moments add up, and you end up taking 2 out of 3 from a pretty good Minnesota team to get back on track.
Is Cal Raleigh becoming one of the stars in all of baseball?
I mean, the numbers sure say so.
Starting to feel that way. Just driving home yesterday, by the way, just in a hurry. Nailed it, crushed it yesterday.
Yeah.
Crushed it. Along with $9,000 on my Nebraska windshield yesterday. But just listening to the national guys talk, Salk, and it's Cal Raleigh, and it's Cal Raleigh, and the game's best catcher, Cal Raleigh, and it's Cal Raleigh, league leader in home runs with 20. It's just, you're starting to hear.
Doing this.
Here's the pitch. Swung on, crushed, right field. It's on its way. Goodbye. Cal Raleigh does it again. He is unbelievable. The home run leader in baseball strikes again. Cal Raleigh going deep.
Call me crazy.
I love that reaction.
Call me crazy?
Yeah.
But Cal's a great name, too. It's a baseball name. Generational baseball name.
It's true.
That's got a past and a history to it, and it just kind of, Cal Ripken, Cal Raleigh, this Cal guy's pretty darn good. We needed stars. The dude has become a star.
Speaking of Cal Ripken, his Baltimore Orioles will be in town starting tomorrow for the first of 3 to finish off this homestand. The Birds have been, well, I would say inarguably the biggest disappointment in baseball this year. But, hey, maybe they're going to make some deals at the deadline, and maybe this is an opportunity to scout 3 guys that maybe would be a fit here on the Seattle Mariners, starting with Ryan O'Hearn, who has been having a heck of a year as a first base DH type.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
We do have some breaking news just moments ago, Brock, and I will report this to everybody. The Mariners are going to retire Randy Johnson's number during next season in 2026. They will have a second number 51 hanging in the rafters, as it will be the 5th number retired in Mariners history.
You think that's a little easier because his is a XX tall and Ichiro's is a medium?
Maybe.
You think it makes it a little easier to retire? They're so vastly different.
Let me read you some of the quotes here from the press release. John Stanton says, Randy's one of the greatest pitchers in Major League Baseball history and one of the most important figures in our organization's history. During the 95 season that changed the future of this franchise, his 18-2 record in a 145-game season was properly recognized with his first Cy Young Award. More importantly, and somewhat lost to history, the Mariners were an amazing 27-3 in his 30 starts that year, an incredible 24 games over 500, compared to a record of 52-63 when any other starter took the hill.
Unbelievable.
That's a stat. I don't think I've ever seen that stat. Kevin Martinez says from his arrival in Seattle in '89 and over the next decade, Randy helped define Mariners baseball in our region and across the country. He was as fierce as any player in baseball, and he provided Mariners fans with some of the greatest moments in Seattle sports history.
Yeah, he's got a little Logan and Walter to him, because when he took the mound, he was just furious.
Mm-hmm.
And now after baseball life, and he's a photographer, My Papa will see him at the gas station down there in Scottsdale on occasion as well, just kind of an everyman. And he's one of those that I would be so intrigued to see if he played in today's game with today's technology. Because he was just fastball slider. He didn't need anything else. But with kind of his manipulation of the baseball, if he would have added, these pitchers do today, a couple other extra pitches.
Yeah.
And he strikes me as a guy that would have mentally wanted to try to do all of that as well.
He seems remember we interviewed him that one time, and everything you'd always heard about Randy as a player was how difficult he was to deal with, right? And was not really a big fan of the media, super feisty, etc. And then we interviewed him on opening day years and years ago, like 10, 12,
Gentle
15
giant.
years ago. God, he was wonderful. He was incredibly gracious and nice and like awesome to talk to. Kind of blew me away and surprised me. So really cool that a second number 51 will be retired next year by the Mariners.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Meanwhile, Seahawks OTA practices continue this afternoon. First opportunity for the media to be there and actually get a chance to see. So I'm going to head over today. Maura said she would go over later this week. I'll play a little sound from Sam Darnold. My eyes will certainly go there and want to see what the quarterbacks look like. He talked here about throwing to... both JSN and Cooper Kupp.
He's kind of similar to Coop that way where, he does things a little different, as do a lot of receivers, and just being able to get reps, like I said. That's the biggest thing at this time of the year, getting to know these guys personally and getting to get a feel for, how they're running the routes. And now we're finally going up against the defense here in phase 3, which helps a ton.
Yeah, I think in both of those guys' case, Salk, their body control is so unbelievable. So you run an option route, you run, a slant route, you give them some little freedom, and especially in the slot or, on a seam or on a skinny, and just their body control. Like you can read 9 out of 10 guys and kind of know when they're cutting and where they're going and what they're doing. Those two is Spider-Man-esque. You better make sure you're reading them properly and you spend that time on task together to know exactly where they're going, because they are pretty darn slippery with their routes.
All right, that is everything you need to know. I got a text here from the 425 about the Bulldog races saying, I'll be there with my English Bulldog. I can give you the inside scoop on how it works. You're going to need 2 people. One of you is the releaser. The other is the catcher at the finish line. True. The louder person should be at the finish line. A larger favorite toy to catch your attention might help. My dog will probably just end up walking over to meet the other people at the start line instead of running, but it's still a hoot. So, all right. I
mean, are
appreciate
you in
the
it to
advice.
win it? Is this like you versus Mora? Like,
Let's hope not. Let's hope it ends better.
Well, you just knew you were kind of in it to win it. Like you were not going to go through the motions. Is Gertie going to be prepared?
Let's hope it ends better than
I mean,
that.
is she going to represent the Wynn Salk family well? Is she going to represent Cecily and Avery? Like
Yeah.
this is
Who's the loudest? To put it
She's been taking Winstrol, so I think she's going to be in
put
pretty
Cecily
good
on
shape.
that finish line, and you let Cecily bark at her.
She's so loud.
Yes.
She's so annoying.
There's no question.
She's really annoying. And loud. I mean, just loud.
But you
Not
need
annoying.
Gertie to hear her over everyone else.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And who's going to put her in a good spot, like at the starting line? Who's going to make her? Yes, that's Heather. and
Heather's
it's
definitely got to
Cecily.
be the person releasing her.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe Cecily and I go together, and Avery will stay with Heather. I don't know.
Now,
We'll
you
have
make
to
sure
see.
you warm her up. You stretch her out. You make sure we don't get a popped hamstring.
No, we will, but the problem is you don't want. I mean, she's a Frenchie. You don't want to wear her out by warming her up. Both things can happen pretty quickly.
All I know is she has a chance because Taiwan Walker's Frenchies aren't around. Remember those Frenchies?
Very athletic. Yeah, but Gertie's a little more athletic than Wendell was, so we'll see. All right, I got a ton of different sound and various potpourri things, Brock. I've got more from Sam Darnold. I think you're going to like this other cut. I've got, you know what? Stick around. Maybe you'll cry. It's next on Brock and Salk.
What a weekend.
Swinging a ground ball up the middle, base hit.
The Mariners' resilient shine.
A walk-off single. Julio scores.
The big dumper unloads.
Cal Raleigh does it again.
Tomorrow night, the homestand continues with a first of 3 against the Orioles at T-Mobile Park. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners and the AL West race. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Man, beautiful weather feels a whole lot like summer already, and you know what that means. Beach, barbecue, golf, vacation, the whole deal. And then, people will inevitably take pictures, and you want to look good enough to be in the pictures, right? You want to look and feel your very best, and Eastside Weight Loss Clinic can help. Trust me, you can do this super fast. I lost 15 pounds just in the first 2 weeks. I lost 35 pounds in just 8 weeks, so there's time for you. Don't wait. Schedule a 15-minute, no-obligation consult right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. You'll get safe, healthy, sustainable weight loss, no pills, no injections, no surgery, nothing like that. It's all real food. You buy it at the grocery store, and they'll show you how to cook it and give you the recipes and the right amounts and everything else and the timeline. And once you do it, you'll start losing weight really quickly and very easily. The secret, you can find out in only 15 minutes with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Schedule that intro right now at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Warmer weather, more sunlight, and your new car. That's right. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, summer starts here. With their combined inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned inventory, you're in for a summer to remember. Their fantastic teams will set you up with a test drive so you can ride off into that summer sun the same day. Summer starts here at Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton. Whether you're in the north or the south, they got you covered. Visit their incredible showrooms today or online at toyotaofkirkland.com and toyotaofrenton.com.
O'Brien. Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
At O'Neill Plumbing, we've been exclusively plumbers for over 100 years. No corny mascots, no out-of-town owners. Just clean, fast, and professional plumbers out to your home fast. All rooter and all trenchless. O'Neill Plumbing.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Polanco and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all three like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk
Weekdays 6 to 10.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Pretty cool news just coming out about 15 minutes or so ago. Randy Johnson will have his number retired by the Mariners next season. So they make that announcement today, and that'll happen during the 2026 season. Pretty cool. Pretty darn cool. Yeah.
251s. I don't think has that been done in baseball anywhere else? Where two of the same numbers?
That's a good question. I would bet it has. Now, you know that my favorite sporting moment as a child occurred around this theme, and I actually just watched it this weekend.
Gordie Howe?
Not Gordie Howe, but I was I showed this to my kids because it's my favorite thing. Cecily had asked me, hey, who was your favorite hockey player as a kid? And I said, oh, it's Ray Bourque. I loved Ray Bourque. He was a defenseman for the Bruins and was drafted right around when I was born. And so he was sort of there since the dawn of time for me. And when Ray was young, he wore number 7. And I don't know, 8-10 years into his career, something like that, the Bruins decided to retire the number of Phil Esposito, who had also worn number 7. And he was going to continue to wear it, right? But
Great number.
Great number. So they were going to retire number 7. And on that day, Ray Bourque came out, and right before they raised the number to the rafters, he took off his number 7 jersey, handed it to Espo, and had number 77 underneath, which he then wore for the rest of his career. And the story is that no one knew other than Ray and the equipment manager. No one else knew he was going to do it. They printed him the jersey, and he wore it for the rest of his career. And it's like the coolest moment ever. Like, I love that happened. So
Make me cry.
Isn't that awesome? I literally have chills right now just telling you the story. That's hockey, man. That is like hockey culture to a T. Like, hey, you know what? This is your number. I'm going to go wear number 77. So freaking cool. Yeah. Ray's the best. Avery was like, oh, he was quite good looking when he was younger. I was like, all right, let's tone it down over here, Avery.
That's all Avery can think about.
It's unbelievable.
Avery and Haley at the same age. How old's Avery? 12,
She's 13.
Yeah. Haley and Avery, very similar.
Very similar.
Very boy
Yeah.
crazy at 12 or 13.
Well, we got to go over to the Kraken locker room and
up there at the
at the Iceplex. Yes, I was there on Saturday. We went to their gear sale. I didn't know they did this. They sell all of the extra and leftover and used gear from the season that the players use. Whoa. So you can buy their sticks, both used and unused. Whoa. You can buy jerseys, skates, socks. Like, you could buy hats, used hats.
All I think about is the smell I always hear about in hockey locker.
It didn't smell that bad, but you could buy. I don't think they use it enough for it to smell bad. Like, they kind of go through that stuff pretty quickly. So Avery did find some Riker Evans gloves. We didn't buy them, but we did take pictures of them and smell them. Yeah, exactly. All right, you want a quick hockey thing, and then because we're doing potpourri, I've got a whole bunch of Cole Young stuff. But I got
a confession. I texted you.
Yes,
and maybe the group. I'd like to get that out in the next 20 minutes or so.
We will have time, I promise.
Great.
Let me start here. So Kraken have their coach, Brock. They hired Lane Lambert to be their coach. Interesting guy. He's been around forever and has kind of, been around the right people.
Featured guy. Huh?
Yes, very.
very strong feature.
Well, he's a player. I think he roomed with Steve Yzerman a long time ago, which may be how they knew him, because obviously Yzerman and Lewicki go way back. But he was with Barry Trotz, who won a cup in Washington forever. They kind of were like worked together almost as a tandem for a really long time. Jeff Merrick was on the station last week, said this.
Essentially, you're getting a guy here like Lane Lambert is 60 years old. Lane Lambert has pretty much done it all behind the bench. He's coached at the American League level. He's coached at the NHL level. It's not as if he's specialized in handling defense or just handling special teams. He's kind of touched all of it. So what Seattle is getting here is a very well-rounded, experienced, and I should mention as well, a very well thought of and respected coach around the NHL. He's been up for head coaching jobs before. He was in the Anaheim mix before they went with Sean Cronin.
All right, so he's a guy who's been around, and I do in that way kind of like the hire. The question that I think's got to come up immediately is, for a team that needs a star player, Mitch Marner's available. Is he going to help you land Mitch Marner? And here's what Jeff Merrick from Toronto said.
There's going to be a number of suitors. And I know it's easy just to say whoever offers Mitch Marner the most money is going to win the Mitch Marner sweepstakes. But I think that the money might end up being all the same everywhere, give or take $1, maybe $2 million. I think Marner wants to be in a winning environment. And no slight against Seattle, but, Vegas is where Vegas is. And they're closer to a Stanley Cup. And Carolina is closer to a Stanley Cup. And Dallas is closer to a Stanley Cup. And that's why I would put, any of those teams ahead of Seattle in the Mitch Marner derby. But, I think it's crossed everybody's mind. When you see Lane Lambert go from Toronto to Seattle, you wonder if there could be a lure there. And especially considering my last point, which was that Seattle's probably looking to do something with their offense and maybe pick up a star here in the process. But I think some of those other teams would be higher on Marner's list.
Is this the first head coaching gig for Lambert?
No, he coached for the Islanders a few years ago. Actually did pretty well.
As a head coach.
Yeah, when Barry Trotz got fired there, he was elevated, and then eventually he was fired for Patrick Waugh. But, he coached for Lou Lamoriello, who is a legendary GM. He's kind of been around all the right people.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see if you can attract. It's kind of like recruiting in college football, Salk. When you're kind of at this place in kind of the standings and where you are, it's like, okay, well, you'll have an opportunity here. If you want to be the one that changes the course and the direction, you've got to, that's got to be the sales pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, those other spots and many, many spots are a lot further established, and
they're just a lot further down the process, right?
Along.
They're much further along. So we'll see. We'll have eyes on that over the course of the off season. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but if you are interested, PWHL has their new team here in Seattle, and the expansion draft is a week from today. It is unlikely that Hillary Knight will be available, but it's not impossible. And she is like the best female hockey player from America in forever. She's older. She's not quite what she once was, but there is at least a small chance, and we'll find out probably later today, that she'd be available. That would be about the coolest thing for that franchise. And this weekend, we spent a lot of time Friday, Brock, talking about Cole Young and whether or not he would be called up. He was indeed on Friday, but in kind of a unique way. He started the game for the Rainiers and then was pulled off partway through the game by the manager. And here is the audio from the dugout.
I meant to tell you this earlier, but I'm really proud of what you've done, how far you've come. Just take that to Seattle tomorrow, okay? Where? Seattle. Right, tomorrow. So you're done. You're not playing anymore this game. You're going to go play for Seattle. All right? Congratulations. Hey.
No. Sit down, go to center. I don't know what to do right now, dude. Let's go, dude. You over here, kid.
Don't get out of here until you talk to me, okay?
Yeah, I'll stay here. I'm going to call my...
Well, if it's late, but call me or something, okay?
I was so unexpected. I had no idea.
I know.
Were you left wondering at all the machinations behind the scenes?
Yes.
Leading up to that, as I was?
Oh, yes.
By the way, beautiful. The audio's cool. The video does it so much more justice. To see his teammates hugging. That was in game. I was like in the fourth inning, between innings of the game. And at one point, the manager points to somebody else like, yeah, you're playing second. You're going in. You know, as Cole's hugging guys. And like, it felt like kind of honestly, it felt like a Hollywood script. Like that's something you would see in the movies. You're not going to see that during a game, AAA, but you did. And I'd just be kind of fascinated as to why it happened then. Why didn't it happen earlier in the day? Why couldn't he have been a part of the lineup Friday night? Like, you know, just all the moving pieces. And there's answers to those things that nobody, well, a couple people know, but we we don't.
It's definitely
and I'd be fascinated to hear.
It is definitely an odd way it went down. I mean, you would have expected it either to happen Friday or Saturday, but no, it happens.
Hey, Scoop Dog, too.
Friday
Do you know his parents' names, too? Is his dad named Lawrence, or is that just Logan? Or do we know the Young family? What do we got here? What do we got, Lyle?
I have not met his parents, so no, I don't.
What?
No, I haven't. No,
not yet.
Not
Right?
yet.
I mean, throw a
Friendly
yet
with
at the end of
Logan's
that.
parents.
You
know
will,
their
I would
names.
assume.
You know their birth dates. You know everything. You don't even know Cole's parents yet.
Not yet. Not yet.
Really?
No.
Huh.
No.
Have you been able on it? Honestly, you do, and we poke a lot of fun at you. I said this during spring training, Salk, when we looked over there, and Lyle and TJ were literally for 45 minutes just talking, no microphones, no nothing. And that was with Logan Evans at that time. But it was a number of the prospects, you know, through the system that they've done an awesome job of building that good old connective tissue that I like to talk about. Have you been able to connect with Cole through his journey in the minors?
Well, we just had him on the podcast that came out today. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, we've gotten to know him.
Why is your answer so awkward? I just asked you, I gave you a compliment, and then you what was even that answer back at me? What was that?
No,
Well,
like we have
on the podcast.
I don't. Yes, like we've gotten to know him a little bit for sure.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Yeah,
I think Brock's wondering why that had to be like a
Yes.
conflict answer there. Like, why was that confrontational? He was just setting you up for success.
I never know where Brock's going.
He was setting you up for success. Do you know the man? Like, yeah, we just had him on the podcast. It was great. You can find it at Marine Layer. Like,
I think what Lyle just said is that he doesn't trust Brock.
I don't blame him.
I don't know. I never know where Brock's going with things. So
Okay.
sure.
Lyle's
But
very
yeah,
defensive.
To answer your question, Brock. Yeah, we've gotten to know him. Good kid. Fun to talk to.
Good kid. He's like your age. What do you mean, good kid? You guys are like the same age. You can't call him a kid.
And this is why I don't say things on this show.
Oh, no. Lyle's going for the sympathy vote today. Wow. Man, trying to.
No, he's great. Like Cole's awesome. We were talking to him on Saturday, like even before the debut, and you could tell like he was very much taking it all in. In fact, what he said to us was, yeah, it hasn't really set in yet because it's all been such a crazy 24 hours. But
Pittsburgh kid, right? Suburb, John Clayton guy, same neighborhood. Well,
Is he a
actually,
Pittsburgh
John
guy?
Tupper neighborhood.
He is.
Oh, outside.
Apparently,
He's not from Mount
Pittsburgh.
Lebanon, is he? Like Josh Wilson
Wrexham
was?
or something?
Okay.
Wexham, what's the name of the town?
All right, we'll find out some details on that.
All
But
right.
good for him. That was a pretty
Wexford.
cool moment, and then obviously ends up, winning the game on Saturday with the walk-off, and that whole deal was pretty darn cool.
Storybook.
Yeah, that's
Scripted,
it
felt like. Scripted a little on Friday, and then storybook on Saturday.
All right, I got a couple of other notes for you here, Brock, which we'll get to in a moment. I know that you had a couple of confessions after your final ever, like your potentially
UFL.
your last ever broadcast.
Maybe, probably not, but last Fox broadcast in UFL in the pouring rain, tornado warnings, rain like I've never seen before, and I don't know if you watched any of the highlights at all from Friday Night Salk. The
Probably not.
first 10 minutes was absolutely hysterically like North Dallas 40. I mean, mud puddles, like you couldn't even snap the ball. It was amazing. But on my flight too, somebody had given me a recommendation, and I forget who. I was trying to think of who it was. It was coach. Somebody said, you've got to watch the Yacht Rock documentary on the United plane. You got to watch it.
Okay.
And I was like, and I flipped through it, and I've looked at the new releases. And I'm like, and I finally did. Have you seen the Yacht Rock documentary?
I have not.
Salk, you got to see it.
Who's featured in it?
All of them, and I had no idea.
That's because you don't know who any of them are, right? That's why you're saying
I knew
them.
Toto. No, I knew.
Okay, so
I knew
Toto's
these
in there.
guys.
Nice.
Toto's in all. It's Kenny Loggins. It's all of them in that era of the 70s and 80s.
Steely
where,
Dan.
Oh, it was all Steely Dan was at the center of yacht rock.
You would
They are
think,
the
yeah.
epicenter
Right.
of all of it.
Okay.
What I had no understanding of, and honestly, it connected a lot of dots, and it was humbling. I was this days old, as the kids like to say, when oh my gosh, these people all work together.
Mm-hmm.
They would jump in and work with Steely Dan and this and that and this and that. They'd be used on these different. And who sang "Sailing"? That guy,
Christopher Cross.
Unbelievable story
Yeah.
of his whole background and his meteoric rise, and then his absolute fall, and the whole genre that just absolutely took off into the 70s and early 80s. And then when MTV came, just flushed it all right down the toilet and it was gone.
Yeah.
Like, it was honestly for a music nobody. And Damon is a music somebody who loves all of these people. It was so cool and historical, and their storytelling was just phenomenal. It is a must 90 minutes.
That's funny. We were I was watching because Avery's singing Toto's song in her next concert in a couple weeks. She's singing "Hold the Line." So I happened to find somewhere on Instagram Reels or whatever the isolated vocals for Rosanna. They're unbelievable. Those guys from Toto could really sing. Steve Lukather and the rest of them, like, they're super impressive. Super impressive musicians. And they were like all studio musicians. Did it go into that? How that same year their big album came out, like they worked on Beat It, right? Or like on that whole Thriller album?
Thriller. They were on all of it.
Yeah.
They were all on all of it. It was their livelihood. They all shared.
Yeah.
It was all this group, and then to see the different arms of it. And who's the guy, the Mike with the amazing voice that was on
Mike
everybody?
McDonald.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because he had been with the Moody Blues, right, and then was on doing that at that point. Yeah. All right, I'll see what I can do, Brock. I'll see if I can watch that. I appreciate the recommendation. So I asked Brady on Friday about Trey Hendrickson, right? You and I had talked about it, and then eventually I asked Brady, all right, tell me what you would do, and Brady gave me like first kind of a long reporter-like answer on all the details of this or that, and then I said, all right, Brady, if you were the GM, would you try to trade for Trey Hendrickson?
If I'm the Seahawks, absolutely. Oh, there's no question. Yeah, I mean, $16 million. That's why the guy is holding out right now, because he's had 17.5 sacks each of the last 2 years, and he's due to make $16 million this year, which, it's a lot of money for most people. But when you think about where the market for those top-tier edge rushers has gone, Myles Garrett's making $40 million. Bosa, $35 million. Trey Hendrickson, who's been the most productive guy over the last couple seasons, is looking at that and saying, hey, I'm now due to make less than half of those guys. So the point is that would be a great bargain.
All right, so I want to dig into that. By the way, I did mean the Doobie Brothers, not the Moody Blues. Sorry about that. But
it was a Doobie.
Sorry about that. I started thinking about the Brady comments there about Hendrickson. So we seem to think that the Seahawks had some level of interest in Max Crosby this past offseason, right? Like that's been right? Like the possibility of maybe making a deal for Max Crosby. That hasn't gotten flushed from my mind yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get Max Crosby. Don't get me wrong.
They're not now.
They're not. Like he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, the Spy Tech just kind of scoffed at what Pete was trying to get done.
Right. That was a non-starter.
No, we're not doing that. Yeah.
But the fact that they wanted Max Crosby, doesn't that give you a hint that maybe they would be interested in making a deal for Trey Hendrickson? By the way, that whole thing, I believe went down after the DeMarcus Lawrence signing. So it's not like that. Did it happen before?
That was at the combine. Yeah, it was before.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, that was a lot of that was at the combine.
All right, so maybe that then kind of is the other side of that, and they say, well, we were able to get DeMarcus Lawrence, so that was it. But DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't rush the passer like either Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby. I mean, like he is at this stage of his career more of a run stopper on the edge and an edge setter. That kind of occurred to me over the weekend of like, man, they wanted Max Crosby.
You know what occurs to me, and maybe it was some of that show, honestly, Yacht Rock, and just watching the creative aspect of that, and those that create content, Salk, and it's so fun to hear, like, Africa, Toto's biggest hit, the only song of theirs that ever went number one, was like the back of the album, it was like a nothing. It was a nothing burger.
Yep.
But why did that catch? And just how does content hit? And it just strikes me, and I'm totally prisoner, and you could give me a multitude of other examples, and I'm sure the text toy could as well. I was like, no, you're just wrong on that one, Brock. That's not the only way it has to be done. But I'm a prisoner to 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, where instead of paying for other guys, you found your own content. You built your own guys. Trey Hendrickson was what, a 3rd-round pick, right, out of FAU that that the Saints ultimately, made happen. And then the Bengals got, in his late 20s and got an unbelievable amount of production for him, per dollar. And that's ultimately, it just strikes me that the teams, the bands, the people that sustain are the content creators. They're not the content recyclers or regurgitators. They create their own. They make their own. That make any sense? I know that's deep. It's philosophical, but that's what happens when you watch a yacht rock documentary. Salk, you're the artist in me comes
Of course it does.
So much.
I think so. Yeah.
I want the talent. I want the content. I want to make it. You should have been celebrating over the weekend. I saw Taylor Swift got all of her stuff back, right? Got all of her own originals. She can now have all.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really, really big news. I didn't see you talking about it or tweeting about it. I saw others doing
It's
that.
quite that big for me, but yeah,
Okay,
it's more
fine.
big for her. She's going to make a lot more money now.
Yeah, I really, the most successful organizations, I do believe this. And it's why the draft developed trade, right? By the Seahawks, the Mariners. It is, they find their 3rd-round pick becomes Trey Hendrickson. Right, their 3rd-round pick, their 60th pick.
It is great when that works out, but if it doesn't, sometimes you got to make a deal in order to make it happen. So yeah, I don't know. Like, you need pass rush, man. Pass rush. I got one other little note here for you. I was maybe going to save this for tomorrow, but whatever. I'll do it right now. Just last couple of minutes of the show. Since I know you love the Pro Football Focus rankings, about an hour ago, they ranked their top 10 interior defensive linemen. I'll spoil it for you. Leonard Williams is number 6, so he's there in the top 10. Just one spot behind Jalen Carter, who is number 5. One interesting thing to me, though, is of the players on this list, there are only 2 or 3 of them that are on good teams. Isn't that weird? So here's their list. Chris Jones, Kansas City, obviously a very good team.
Yep.
Dexter Lawrence, Giants, not very good.
Yep.
Cam Hayward, Steelers, okay, but certainly not great. And right now they don't have a quarterback, but
consistently good.
But they're okay. Quinnen Williams, Jets, not very good. Jalen Carter, great. Leonard Williams, Seahawks are a good team, although not according to Pro Football Focus. Derek Brown, Panthers, bad team. DeForest Buckner, Colts, not very good team. Jeffrey Simmons, Titans, worst team in the league last year. Christian Wilkins, Raiders. That's their top 10 list. Only a couple of those guys are on good teams for a position that I tend to think of as arguably the most important after quarterback. The top of the top doesn't seem to be enough to propel you into being a good team.
No,
and a lot of those teams have bad quarterbacks. So,
yep, and a lot of those guys get double teamed. Right, there is an opportunity with a lot of those guys to take 2 of your resources and put them on one of those guys and do your best to kind of take them out of the game.
But also the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl last year both have a player on that list, so maybe it kind of cuts both ways.
Ooh, that's a good tease to tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah,
that whole PFF roster.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because there's one D lineman that's really got to grow.
Really?
Ooh, I didn't realize how bad that rookie's grade was last year.
Really? Oh, we'll talk about that.
Have your eyes on him today, too.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
They won't miss. Your eyes won't miss his thighs.
That's for sure. All right. Well, tomorrow, Jeff Passan at 8:30, and Coach Mike McDonald will join us at 9:30 tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We'll be talking football with the coach. I'll get over to practice today. I have some takeaways for you. Should be a fun morning tomorrow, Brock. Looking forward to that. And the Mariners have an off day. Congratulations to Randy Johnson getting his number retired. That's pretty cool. And I'm sure we'll hear more about that tomorrow as well. All right.
Wow, that was a fast-moving Monday.
I know, right? We got to get out of here. Bump and Stacy are coming up next. We'll catch you guys at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Until then, the hay.
Home of your first-place Mariners in the barn.
See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
He's just eating right now.
Okay.
Cal Raleigh.
I like that.
How about that?
He's in his zone right now, and he's doing it from both sides of the plate, which is the most impressive thing. And he's played every single day, even on his day off.
You do think, like, are you going to get days off? I mean, you're hanging on to Garber to give Cal days off.
Right.
That's the one fear I have with Cal's season so far is like, hey, let's get this guy some time.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
When the heat's in 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush.
Act now before summer.
Because that heat's a real bummer.
dayandnight.net.
Even though our Northwest summers can be spectacular, there's always a long hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. You can stay comfortably cool when those hot temps arrive. This is the time to plan ahead and call us about installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
Before the summer heat wave.
Keep your house cool and safe.
dayandnight.net. Make sure your AC will keep you cool when the summer heat gets here. Save $50 on a pre-summer AC tune-up. When the heat's at 11, stay cool with Day and Night.
dayandnight.net. At Cressy Door, we have the perfect garage door for you. Come visit our brand new garage door and fireplace showroom and let our experts help you find the perfect garage door. Cressy Door.
Does your building company have a strong website? One with a solid organic search presence, engaging prospects, and filling your pipeline? You know, a site that speaks loud about your company. I'm Rusty George. My local agency specializes in creating websites and marketing strategies for building companies, including construction, manufacturing, and material suppliers. We develop strategies and tactics to attract and win more quality business. See how we can help your business get louder at rustygeorge.com. That's rustygeorge.com.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and the newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.